Yes, people, big up to all of you, and welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome to this particular edition of the Blue Morning Show. Today, we're here to preview the match, the home game against Aston Villa, the Premier League home game against Aston Villa at the Bridge. I don't know. I'm not too sure what's going to happen, but I'm confident. Those run of games that people think we're going to lose are the games we'll end up getting results from. But that's, by the way, I don't think we have any other thing to talk about except maybe we'll talk about the injuries we have. But beyond that, it's just about the game, and the game until we're done with it. So I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. I hope you're all doing well. Sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes that do go a long way. I appreciate you all. What's up, says Anemaya Forole. Always nice to see you. Big up to you too, brother. I hope you're doing well. Broya is back. He says, yep, that's the truth. But I'm not too sure whether he starts or whether he starts off the bench or the manager goes to a structure that will enable him accommodate Broya and Jackson at the same time. But let's see what happens. I think I do that because if we do that, we'd have more goal threat than usual. Big up to you too, Dominic, Maximilian, and Neche. Always nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. And I have Oscar in the house. Oscar, appreciate you. Oscar, the best O2. What's up? I'm doing well. How about you? I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join. And we have Santiago Muno. Big up, bro. I appreciate you joining. My assistant, I like to call you. And thank you for always being available and always ready to help me answer questions in the chat. Sincerely do appreciate that. I think we're not going to waste too much of a time these days. What we do is whenever we round off, even if it's for 45 minutes, an hour, we just round off. No need wasting time dragging our feet. The quicker we round off, the more I'd have the time to do all the stuff I have to do and be ready for the next show, so that way we'll have a consistent schedule. You can say regular schedule, but yeah, and what's the language I'm looking for? And sustainable schedule. But more importantly, Santiago Munoz, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining, bro. Let's look at first the injuries. I'm not gonna look at the most predicted lineup right now. So let's look at this, whether they've updated it. Malang Sarr, I think we're all acquainted with his case. Wesley Fofana, we know he's not going to be back until 2024, late March to be specific. Trevor Chalobah, return date unknown. Romeo Lavia, late October. Reece James, hamstring on return date unknown. Reece James, certainly he's not going to be available for selection tomorrow. That's according to the manager's comment saying he's training. Training alone, and I think he says something to the effect of him and Nani Madueke joining the rest of the team. I think next week or so, or a few days, I'm not too sure, but I don't think he plays a part in this particular game. Nani Madueke is doubtful. Maybe he gets a chance to play. Moises Caicedo says he's doubtful too. For me, I think Caicedo will not play a part. It's not worth risking, you can say, his fitness or risking a setback. That's because in his absence, Lesley Ugochukwu did a very good job. I'm not going to keep repeating myself how well I think he did, because I think he read the game well, occupied spaces to make it difficult for the opposition players. And he's a good passer of the ball too. I learned that day that he has a good vision. And Moises Caicedo and Marcus Bettinelli still recovering. He will be back in a few days. Marco Correa, doubtful. He was ill. But there's a chance we'll see him on the bench. Christopher Nkunku knee injury early November 2023. Connie Chukwuemeka, mid-October. Connie is also training right now, but separate from the group. Benwell Badiashile, a growing injury, a few days. He suffered a setback, but we're learning it's it wasn't as serious as initially thought. So yeah, hope to see him back soon. And then we have Amanda Broya. I think Amanda Broya definitely would play a part. Maybe he starts off the bench and then comes in later on. And that's what I think will happen. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. And I want to take this opportunity to appeal to those of you who are watching, but for one reason or the other, you're not able to participate in the chat. We appreciate you. You watching alone does provide great value to the community, and we urge you to please, again, take a second to drop a like on the stream if you can. No, I promise you, nobody will know when you do so. So please do help us to garner more likes, to trigger the YouTube algorithm to push the stream to more people who'd be interested. To more people who'd be interested. Oh, okay. To more people who'd be interested in the topics we have lined up here. And I have Rain. Always nice to see you, Rain. Raphael, always nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. And we have a good morning from my bro, Erica Blue. Much love to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join us in the chat today. Big up to you too, Francis Winters. I hope you're doing well, Mr. Francis. I think you missed the show for a while. Please do let me know that things are okay with you. And we have Constantin Dante. Much love to you too, brother. Always nice to see you. Chichilla, he calls me. So we get straight into the match preview. We've looked at the injury list. Not accurate because the manager told us that Broya could play a part. I can't remember the language, the specific language he used. But that's, by the way, this is Fort Mob's own predicted lineup. Yep, and I didn't know Aston Villa played with 4-4-2. Wow, that's very traditional of them. But they're thinking Colwell was still playing the left back position. I don't like that, and I really do not want to see that. Let's see, and Sanchez between the sticks. I wouldn't mind that if that's, but we'll do our own prediction. Sanchez between the sticks. That's a certain because yeah, he's improved. And we knew before time that if it wasn't for the departure of Keparis Balaga, that he wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to start as soon as he did after joining us just a few days. I don't know how long it took before he got the chance to start between the sticks for us. But yeah, he's proven that the managers, or you could say the coaching staff or the goalkeeper trainers were right to have, you could say, trusted him. Yeah, the two center backs. Yeah, I think that's the same thing as last time. Do I think the manager will still play Colwell in the left back position? I think so. But he's to me, I think we need to play a traditional full back there, so that the role will be fulfilled effectively. Right back, Gusto certainly, because James isn't ready. Ugochukwu, yeah, I would rather go with Lesley Ugochukwu. He did a very good job the last time he played, and which was the reason why I argued it wouldn't make any sort of sense to try to rush Casado back and risk a setback. In the 10th position, this is something I wouldn't do. Honestly, I'd rather play Fernandez in a deeper position and play Gallagher in that 10th position, even though I think both aren't great at fulfilling the role. Traditionally, Enzo for me is a deep line midfielder, but Gallagher for me carries goal threat. So if he plays closer to the final third in the 10th position, for me, I think his score goes. But Enzo seemed a bit lost in that position. And that's because for me, traditionally, he's a deep line midfielder. The more he sees the pitch, the more effective he'd be. The less he sees the pitch, the less effective he'd be. That's not me saying he's a bad footballer. Other individuals here on the pitch here, I think they're all good. But that's, by the way, let me catch up with what we have in the chat, and then we'll come back to the match previewing the game. Yeah, thank you, Constantine. Rafa said, Coach, I would play Gusto right back. The Sassi and Kowal center back. Unfortunately, Silva needs a rest. Maybe that's the case. So Gochiku DM, Gallagher midfielder, Palmer attacking midfielder. That's the 10 role, and winger Starling. Unfortunately, Jackson. Okay, not a bad lineup anyway. If you ask me, just give me a second here. But please keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes that do go along where we're just still just as 15 likes. Big up to you too, brother. I hope you're doing well. Aston Villa play different formations, so not just one. Okay, but maybe I'm sensing that the FOP mob chose these probably because predominantly that's the structure they play. In my opinion, I haven't followed them. I have not been paying attention to the structure they played. Good afternoon, all you beautiful blues. Chelsea Ultra, always nice to see you, brother. I hope you're well. And Matson Chilwell at left back. I wouldn't mind Matson, but I have to be or you have to find a way to make up for his lack of height, or maybe a real aerial ability, for lack of a better term. I would start with Ugochukwu today. I don't think it's worth the risk to play Casado. We already have enough injuries. Plus, Ugochukwu is capable. He fulfilled the role the way I like it, actually. Intelligence, not all aggression, or maybe just to destroy opposition, break up opposition play. There's more to his game. Coach, I meant, unfortunately, Starling, I think he starts. He's the most experienced, and if he can be consistent, believe me, he'll be a regular starter in this thing. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 15 likes. I think we're doing well, and we're 15 minutes into the game. That's a good sign. And we have Jerry Z in the house on the panel for the first time. And if you're in the chat, I'm going to ask you the same question I want to ask Jerry Z right now. The question I'm asking, are you looking forward to this game? If yes, you let me know why. If you're not, let us know why. And it'd be interesting to see what you have to say. And Jerry Z, welcome to the panel. I appreciate you finding the time to join. I'm going to ask you this question. Are you looking forward to this one? If yes, why? If no, you let us know why. I'm listening to you when you want to speak.
Hello, Coachella. How are you doing?
You too, brother. I can't complain. Any day above ground is a good day. So yeah.
Nice to be here on a beautiful Saturday evening here in Thailand.
Big up to you, brother.
So
Talk to us. Are you looking forward to this
straight
one?
to the point, straight to the business. So you asked me if I'm looking forward to this game. Yeah, I am. At the same time, it's Arsenal Tottenham. So two absolutely delicious, spicy games starting at the same time. Why I'm really looking forward to Chelsea versus Aston Villa is because, like I've been participating for a long time. And I've been saying that Pochettino, is absolutely amazing, right? But things haven't worked out so far. The results are not there. There are a lot of issues. So, so we can cut some slack because of the injuries, because of some other issues that we have seen. But now I think it's time, I'm not saying that now it's time that Chelsea should start, being like the best team in the world or just being perfect. But 5 games, okay, a little bit thunderstorm, so many injuries, international break. But how long can even I support Pochettino, right? So we have to see
you want to see
tangible.
progress.
We have to see some progress. Even if we are great in all metrics and if we are not scoring the goal, I really don't see it's a progress, right? So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because as Chelsea played Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, they play very low block. So I can understand if a team is struggling, no matter it's Chelsea or Arsenal is not struggling, just give an example, or Liverpool or City, the low blocks team would be even more difficult at the time, right? So Aston Villa, although they are a defensive team, I would say they are a defensive team. They are not really an attacking team, but they will definitely not park the bus. So I will see how we'll progress. And the issue of scoring goal, it needs to be sorted out sooner than later, right? So yeah, we have to see a lot of things, the combination, back 3, back 4, hybrid, what's going on. Pochettino needs to settle on something and be consistent, not change every week or so, right? So I think things will streamline from now on. Things should streamline. Okay. And I'm really looking forward to the game, yeah.
All right. Beyond that, I wanted to ask you a question before I give the microphone back to those in the chat. The question: I know how much you like a Pochettino. Love, maybe like is an understatement. You followed him for a while, and you know his records are off the top of your head. The question I want to ask you is this: you've watched the 5 games we played so far. Of the issues you observed, do you blame him for any of those?
Simple question, yet very technical at the same time. Uh, I would blame him. I won't say like you know me, right? I won't go very discreet that he played Chilwell as left back, so I'll blame him. This is like black and white. So I would say we have more gray areas right now. Pochettino has a history of experiencing or putting players in positions that they don't usually play. So I was expecting something to happen, like a left back playing as a left wing or something like that.
Yeah, if you're doing that with experienced players, then I don't have a problem. But if you're doing that with younger players, it's usually, for me, it's an issue. It can lead to the players being confused. So because they're still very young, they haven't actually mastered a particular position. So playing them out of position, to me, creates a problem rather than aid their development. Even it doesn't matter how many times they play. But you
I'm
go ahead.
coming to
Sorry
the
for
point.
cutting you off.
No, sorry. Absolutely, you're correct. I'm not defending him. Like I'm not a person who will always defend him. I'm very
You're
disappointed
sure
with
you're
his
not
performance.
defending him because you're his lawyer? I know.
No, I was just saying that he usually plays players or he experiments them out of position. He has done it throughout his career. So the thing that I'm disappointed with, or I won't say blame. The blame is too early to use the word blame, right? The Where I'm not impressed, where I didn't see things coming, is that he played 4-2-3-1 in preseason. And preseason is getting ready for the season, right? So we were doing things completely different in the preseason. And now we are in the back three. He'll say it's hybrid. I'm learning as well. Okay, it's confusing, right? He say hybrid. We went back to back four in the last game. So I don't think so. This kind of experimenting on and off will help, right?
It doesn't, yeah.
Especially if the squad is so new. So more than the tactic, more than playing Levi Colwill at this position or Chilwell there, sometime playing Mudryk here, sometime not starting the players we want. More than that, this is something I cannot say putting statistics or analytics. It's like a feeling. I feel that he is overthinking. His body language or his press conferences is not so consistent. One week is something and the other week is something. He's over trying. This is the feeling I'm getting. He's maybe getting a lot of input from the fans and the media, and he's trying to fix things very quickly. And I think he needs to calm down himself. If he's telling Silva to calm down, if that's true, he needs to calm down. He should be strong enough not to take the pressure of fans or the media. I think he's desperately trying to settle things. I can see the desperation already. I can see the desperation. And the thing that when he said in the press conferences or his first, when he was unveiled as a Chelsea, we'll win, we have to win. We even have to win the Premier League. Top four is a failure. So I really don't think so as a person who would be like advising him in public relation. It's something he said huge, so big. Even the fans, the owners, the critic, the journalist, a top four would be considered as I would say, right, as a very successful season. Given
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
But
Yeah.
Pochettino is saying we have to win the league. So I can see all these things, aligning and not being integrated in a very proper way. So yeah, I think the best thing is it'll come down to basics. If there are 2-3 games Chelsea could win, score goals, I think Chelsea will find a momentum from there on.
All right, I hope so. I'm going to give those in the chat the microphone, then I'll come back to Ty, who's been on the panel for a while now. But it's not too late. We're just 22 minutes into the show, and we have 19 likes already. So I appreciate you all. But quickly, I want to look at the poll where I asked the question, would you risk starting Caicedo? 60% said no, I would start Lesley instead. And the 40% says yes, I would start Caicedo. Let me give it a bit of time. And that's how many votes in total? 15 votes. Not a bad sign for sample size, but let's see if that goes up. But can we really expect Poch to go to 4-2-3-1? If you know him, you could. That's the structure he's played with predominantly. For me, I think he will still go back there. But for some reason, he's not played that consistently at Chelsea. I'm not too sure. Even if he plays with that structure, chances are he still plays Levi Colwill in the left back position. And Chelsea Archer says, I would like to see Maxson start in the left back, Mudryk left wing back, Palmer can central attacking midfielder Ugochukwu and Ainsley double pivot. But I know Poch doesn't have the guts to be that attacking. To me, he's an attacking minded manager actually. If you ask me, I'd say he's just being cautious because he's playing with an entirely new team. So it'd be very dangerous if he's focused on attacking strictly. He will be causing him a lot of problems. So he's trying to be cautious until the team starts playing as a unit. Maybe you will see the more attacking side of the manager. We've always known that's his game. It doesn't. You can say. He's not a defensive manager, in my opinion. Big up to you too, Chelsea till I die. I appreciate you joining. Let's see. I agree. Ugochukwu is massively underrated. I really like the look of the kid already. He's a fine player in my opinion. Jersey on the panel. Yep, he's on the panel today. Chelsea versus Aston Villa is a mid-table clash. Okay, Peter Pan, if that's how you see it, you're entitled to your opinion. And big up to you, Eugene. I appreciate you joining. I said no Gallagher. Didn't say replace with Enzo. For me, I'd rather Gallagher play in the 10 role than in the deep, again, in the mid, in the area he's played before. He played in the last game. To me, he'd be more effective. I get it. Enzo is more creative of the two, but Enzo can still create chances even if he starts in a deeper position because he'd have the freedom or independence, whatever language you prefer, to get closer to the final third, find the passes, defense splitting passes and all that. Then Gallagher, who carries goal threat, will play closer to the final third. But if Gallagher starts deeper, which means he'd be leaving spaces, he'd be, again, whenever he gets into the box, we risk, you can say, opposition team hitting us on a break. Because I'd argue that he can't read the game quite well, in my opinion. Let's see. I meant talented, not relented. I suspected that wasn't what you meant. But these things happen to all of us. Can we sign up Paquita? We're doing a match preview right now. Whether the clubs will be interested in signing Paquita in January, I don't know. Maybe they will. I don't know. Gallagher is not getting better. Let's see. Maybe we just his thing. I'm not going to get into that argument. Portugal, 80% of the blame. What are they doing in a training? Some question right there. I'm not sure what they do in training. Maybe just barbecue. I never wanted Poch. The manager blew League One with some of the most talented and decorated players in the world. I just do not rate him, and he is proving me right. Not yet. You can't say he's proving you right just yet. He's already showing his flaws. Wow, some argument right there. Let's see what else we have here. And unfortunately, I'm going to make it clear to you, we're here to preview a game. And if what you're saying in the chat, if they are not aligned with the match preview, and specifically if they're you're here just resenting or maybe just presenting, you can say, resentful arguments, honestly, I'm going to skip them for my own mental health. The January 2023 window was one of the worst windows for Chelsea ever. Poch is still all over the place, so you are agreeing with Jersey in terms of that. Let's see, Romeo Lavia was on signing, unfortunately, for crazy money. Let's see, Ugochukwu is better than Casado and Lavia. Some argument right there. Maybe he is, but we need time to find out. Cade has elegance, the way he plays, so no wonder. So you just made it clear why you like him. To me, I think he's a fine player. Lavia is good, but he for the future too. Wow. Like most of them, yeah. I'm not shocked. We need it to be more attacking. It's a negative play and a slow build-up that makes us easier to defend against and costs us a lot of points. It's also invites team to pressure us. We should be more proactive. Unfortunately, we're not as proactive as we were during the preseason. Something changed. I don't know whether the injury of one man has led to us playing as slow as we're playing. I just don't know. And Bob Brown, we just need to stop overcomplicating things. We need to go back to basics. We have enough players to win games. Be even more pragmatic, I'd say. We have the pace. We have the power. It doesn't have to be pretty, really. Honestly, if we can maybe get the results here and there, and then, try to beautify things a bit. But right now, we need to be as pragmatic as possible to get wins. What's what DMs? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Cole Palmer, Ballon yeah, maybe he's capable of doing that in the future, but he's still very young. To me, only Ugo is a true DM. Oh yeah, and I'm sure you're not doing a tap in on me because I'm quite sure you've heard me say that 1,000 times. He's a traditional DM we have within the ranks. Can we sell Lavia and Casado for 150 million in January? Unfortunately, even if you decide to sell them in January, nobody will give you that much money for them both. But they're staying. They're good players. I think they will come good. Maybe you don't like the fact that the club signed them, but that's just your opinion. If you ask other players or other fans, they will let you. I think majority will let you know they're both good signings, and I think they're both good signings. The question is, how are we going to use them both at the same time? I think with the 4-3-3 structure, we can accommodate them all. Do I think we pay too much for Moses Caicedo? I'd say yes. But is he a good player? Absolutely. And I'm not going to change my mind because I know he'd come good for us. Ty, I'm going to come to you. And more importantly, Ty, thank you so much for finding the time to join the show this particular morning. The question I'm going to ask you, Ty, the question I've asked everybody in the chat, not a lot has answered that question. The question I've asked, are you looking forward to this to the game tomorrow? If yes, you let us know. If no, let us know why. And if you're in the chat, I'm asking you the same question. So Ty, you go ahead. Let's hear you if you're there. All right. While I wait for Ty, I'll try to get more of what we have in the chat here. Let's see. This says the Sal Palma and Madrid. Why are we going back to sell again? And Colwell on transfer list to join them. Wow, this is just you listing players you don't like. We have to play 4-3-3 with these players really to accommodate all of them. That is, if the plan is to play Casado and Enzo Fernandez and also Romeo Lavia at the same time, or even start Lesley Ugochukwu and flank him flanked by Moses Caicedo and also what's his name and Enzo Fernandez. The question now is, if Enzo isn't playing, who comes in for him? That's a serious question. Coach, with Enzo and Caicedo in our midfield, we may be battling a relegation. Nobody wants to hear it, but that's true. Let's see if that's the case. That's just your opinion, but let's see if that will be the case by the time the season ends. But I don't think it will be. I think we'll have a good squad. All we have is a gelling issue. And let me use my brother Eddie's language. By the time this players bed in properly, I think we'll be firing and oscillators, and I'm confident that be the case. And I'm going to repeat what I've said 1,000 times here. If we finish outside of top 5, divide the number of where we finish in the table, divided by 4. Whatever number you get, I'll do $100 giveaway times by multiplied by that number, and I'm serious. But that's by the way. Let's see what else we have here, Coach. I will play with a 10-man instead of playing with Enzo. Okay, that's just your opinion. And please, I'm begging you again, can you spell his name correctly? And I'll always get your comment, please. Even if you don't agree that he's playing well, it's sure you're entitled to your opinion. We will be fine, not relegation. I think I have to say, yeah, I think I agree with you. We will do well. I don't think we'll be fighting relegation. No, honestly. And I'm going to say something that I did say yesterday. We have issues, but I think the manager is capable of sorting the issues out. And these run of games that people are thinking that the opposition teams are going to mop the floor with us or beat us 4-0, 3-0, 4-0, 8-0. Those are the games I actually believe we're going to do well. We will get results from those games. Poch has changed this. This is what I was saying about him already, showing his flaws. He was a brave preseason. Everyone was upbeat, and the players showed it. Now he's abandoned those tactics that players look lost. And you have to also consider that some of those players that played for us during the preseason, lots of them have gone out on loan. And that makes a huge difference, in my opinion. But that's, by the way, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along. Where we have 20 likes, we should be doing better than that. Let's go for it. But top 4, very slim chance. I think in 5th position, given the new should I call it format or the new qualification rules, I think we should make it. We should have it again. we will be able to achieve a place for the Champions League. Nice to see you again, Michi boy. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Whenever you have a chance, share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. I can't pronounce that well, and don't do that to me, Constantin. Big up to you too. I don't like you. You think I don't know? Mitchell, boy, much love to you too, brother. Please, whenever you get a chance, share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. And before he does that, please click the 3 dots to his to the right of his name. Go to channel and please go subscribe. Let's help him get to 1,100 as soon as possible. If he hasn't, I don't think he's there yet, but we can help him do that. So let's get into the match preview proper. So we've looked at the fourth most predicted lineup. I think it's close, but I'm suspecting there's a chance the manager will not go with Cowell again, or there's a chance he drops Thiago Silva, but we don't know. We don't have too much to work with now. Much love, and I know, brother. I do know. Much love to you, brother. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, let's look at this. I've voted already. Out of 16,058 votes, 48% thinks Chelsea will win, and 38% thinks Aston Villa will beat us, and 14% thinks it will end in a draw. That's really close, which means a lot of people. If this was 2 years ago, you'd see a lot more people will say will vote that Chelsea will win this one. But here's the thing: I like to see such situations where people think we're not going to win, or are not confident that we're going to win a game. That's usually when we get to win games. Yeah, and the ones people think we're going to mop the floor with the opposition players, that's usually when we falter. And that shows that's reflective of the fact that Charity FC is still well and truly in existence, unfortunately. So keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along. We appreciate you all. Coach, okay, I mean, I don't think you should be slandering him. Let's see what else we have here. This is a must-win game for Chelsea. Come tomorrow, God willing. God willing, more importantly, but you need to show the app or play like you want to win it. Then God will look at you and say, okay, you making you pushing to win. You're making enough effort to win. So let me just give you you can say give you a little support to get you over the line. But Seth Ado Mensa, nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Let's see, Jerry, if you're there looking at this poll here, 16,058 votes. To me, that's a lot. With 48% of thinking, believing, only 48% believing that Chelsea will win, 38% believing that Aston Villa will win, 14% thinks it will end in a draw. Why do you think that is? People losing faith in Chelsea, but I want to hear you.
Yes, Coachella. I think it's a pretty decent stat, right? Given where we are, how bad the results are, not the performance.
So you're saying it reflects how the people's, you can say, belief in the team, but go ahead.
Yes, exactly. First of all, Aston Villa is not really a bad team, right? And if they have said what? It's 48% win, right? And 33% or 34%, you said Aston Villa will win. So it's still not a very bad stat.
Yeah, it's on the screen, yeah.
It's not like they're saying Chelsea will win 20%. 48% is not the best stat, but it still reflects positivity, right? Because we didn't defeat Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest. So maybe there is a little bit question mark. So yeah. And of course, I'm not like trying to criticize or look down on any other, Chelsea, but pundits or analysts. But I see a very negative vibe, right? When I see different channels, not over here and other places, the analysts, they are taking the negatives or the performances and making videos after videos. So it's not helping because usually people are followers, right? So people are really buying into that there is a problem. And one more thing to add to give the context, right? So we are at 14th. So I'm not taking names because I respect the community. So we are at 14th. So most of the Chelsea content creators are like literally trying to portray that Chelsea are at 14th. See, after 5 games, it's not 14th, is not the 14th place. If Chelsea win next 2, teams in the top 4 lose the next 2, it will be like Chelsea will be at 6th place, right? Because in the maximum points is 15, which City has, right? So after 15 game, if we have 14, then it makes sense. We are really lagging, right? So now it's a matter of 2-3 games here and there. We can be in the top four. You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I'm with
So
you, yeah.
so the analysis is really like strange in my opinion. So yeah, the belief is low. Even myself, because I really rate Poch high, and even the potential of the Chelsea team. So I'm not really sure Chelsea will win or not. It's a huge question mark. So I'm really hoping that they win, right? They need a win, and then they beat Brighton. I'm really hoping they win these two games. So the momentum will come, and I'm sure the performances will be more consistent. Then, yeah.
Overall, I think you can say you're still with like me. I don't. I know we'll do well overall by come the end of the season, but right now I don't trust the team to an extent where I'd say this is what I believe the outcome would be. That's usually the case when I know the team very well. It's you say to the extent of saying this is what this will most likely be the outcome. It hasn't happened for a while now, and that's because of lack of the trust on my part. But that's, by the way, we'll move on. Let's get a look at their top scorer is Diaby. He has 2 goals, and our top scorer is Raheem Sterling. He has a football rating overall average rating of you can say 7.4, and for Diaby's 7.31, a better rating. Diaby has 2 assists. Raheem Sterling has 0 assists. Each have played each have played both 5 matches in total, and in total 10 matches for both of them, but 5 at pace. And the insights here, this is the interesting part. And Jerry, I want you to pay attention to this because you're into statistics. This says that we're ranked 13th in goals scored per match, 1 goal per match. They're ranked 5th in goals scored per match. To me, this says, yeah, they're most likely, again, to outscore us. But I get it. Let's wait until the man in the middle blows the final whistle. That's when you say, okay, this is the outcome. But if we're going by these statistics, which means the most likely outcome, they will outscore us. They scored 2.2 goals so far this season, averaging 2.2 goals per game this season. And for us, it's been just 1 goal per game. So that's an issue. We've kept the most clean sheets in the competition. Wow, I didn't know that. So if you're going by the second statistics, which means we don't concede that much. So which means even though they're scoring more, there's a chance they don't score against us. Have been awarded the most penalties this season. That's scary. We haven't scored in our last 2 matches. That's also an issue. So Musa Diaby is ranked 3rd in big chances created in the competition. Wow. So given if you're looking at if you're going by this these numbers we looked at here, or let's say call them the statistics we've just looked at, or maybe the insights if that's the language you prefer, it's looking like we're going to lose this. But you go ahead. I want to hear you.
Yes, coach. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you see on the face value, if you see what is written over here, so we can say we'll lose, right? But again, if we analyze, when sports analytics or data analytics analyze, we don't really see something that is this is like a correlation, right? Correlation is that we have some stats and they're correlating that the relationship of this variable or relationship of Chelsea
and it just suggests probability.
It's just associating, it's an association, but we have to find the causation. As an analyst, you have to really dig in down, take out more variables, and have to find causation. First of all, a game of 5 samples is very small, right? After 10 games, we really have some sample, right? And I'm sure, like when the analysts would look into it, they won't say that Aston Villa will beat us based on that, right? Because there's no way you can say that. The problem is clear that Chelsea is not scoring goals. Even if we play well, defend well, we have to score. And that's my personal fear is I really don't see after seeing the 5 games, right? Where will the goals come from? This is a question mark. This is an honest question mark. And again, as you see, the games that Chelsea played, right? Apart from scoring game, all the strength lies. We have never been played out of the park, or no team has dominated us in the 5 games. Even the game we lost against West Ham, it were moments, 3 moments. First of all, it wasn't a corner that was given. It was a foul, right? Of Conor Gallagher. So, sorry, I was taking the wrong name. West Ham. West Ham scored the first goal on the corner where Conor Gallagher was totally off. He wasn't concentrating. So it was an individual fault at set piece. Second goal was a huge mistake, a mistake, right, in the coordination, a rare mistake in the midfield and the defense, which led to the goal of West Ham. And third was a Caicedo's penalty. So I'm just telling, we have to see, when we analyze, we have to see three different instances, two set pieces, one penalty. Liverpool, we dominated them after first 30 minutes. But again, if you see, that was the first game. So no one pointed out. If we go back now after watching these 5 games, the problem was still there. We really don't. The second half was so delicious, coach. No one can deny that, right? I was really like, wow, how good Chelsea is playing in the first game. But we didn't score. But no one took it seriously, right? But the problem was still there in the first game against Liverpool. We created so many chances in the second half. We could have won 4 or 5-0, 5-1, right? So this is a huge problem. Jackson is up front. He's losing ball left, right, and center. Right, his passes are not accurate. He's like over trying. He's so many times he's involved. It's good off track, tracking the ball, being really good when we lose possession. But he really needs to do more work. And when Sterling, Mudryk, Enzo give him a pass, he's really not there at the right position. And it's really mediocre, right? If we see Nicholas Jackson's performance when it matters in the box, he's not there. His touches are really awful, and I'm not saying like because Nicholas Jackson has not really shown anything, he will continue to do so. But if it continues in the next 2-3 games, then I'll say it will be a huge question mark on Nicholas Jackson. So yeah, that's why this game is so important. I'm really going to observe this game, and if whatever comes out from this, right? So we can really get a real feel where Chelsea is at. This game will, because we have played 5 games, injuries, this excuse, that excuse. But now we are, after all this, all of these games with more training, if things will not streamline, then I will say it will be a little bit concerning for Chelsea. Yeah.
That's you. Even though you're Pochettino's lawyer, you being as factual as possible. For me, I say it just suggests a probability of the outcome, what the outcome, or you could say it suggests what the outcome could be. But it's not the certainty. Stats sometimes it just suggests, which means the opposite could happen. But we'll come back to that again. Let me give those in the chat the microphone. Let's see. This is a must-win game for Chelsea. Yep. Let's see what happens. Coach, I think Gallagher should go to Inter Milan. He suits their style of play, and he'd be playing with class players like Frattesi and all the names you mentioned there. Let's see what else we have there. Yes, my assistant, please, from today on, Santiago Muno is my assistant. I like the way he helps answer questions in the chat whenever Andy's talking. But Santiago, much love to you. I appreciate you so much, brother. Cannot thank you enough. Yeah, a swap Gallagher with Barilla. Yep, I'd take Barilla anytime, any day. I'd actually swap Barilla with you can say for a swap one Chelsea player. I'm not gonna mention them just to be safe here. For Barilla, honestly, that's how much I like him. Let's see what else we have here. Coach, sorry if this is a stupid question, but is the Beautiful Game podcast the Beautiful Game? No, he doesn't have a podcast. I've asked him that before. No, I don't think so. That's his name, but yeah, I wish he was here. Stalin versus Diaby. Diaby is good on the eye. Well, I want end products. It doesn't matter how elegantly you play. Would be nice if we drop Stalin already. I think the manager trusts him, and it's proven that the manager. He's actually one of our best players since the start of the season, in my opinion. As much as you could argue, he's not being consistent enough. Just saying hello to you there. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, Coach. Good morning, Joshua. Dan, I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. Coach, good morning. From my end, we really need this game tomorrow. What's wrong with the Blues? I get it. There are other issues, but more importantly, we've not been clinical in front of goal. The goals and wins will only come if we adopt a more fast-paced game with a braver and more willing to attack with a back line and that sits deep for counters. Should we lose the ball. I think here's the people that should be paying attention. Try again. That should be defensively cautious are the 2 6s, or maybe one the more defensive of the 2 6s, or the one that's charged to sit deep while the other has an independence, to be adventurous on the pitch, is the one that should be paying attention where to go to cover up spaces, given how we bump forward. And the high line, we actually do play high line. We haven't done that much because the manager is still being a bit cautious. But I get your argument there, Rafa. Let's see, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Morning to you too, bro. Adebayo Makunju, always nice to see you. I appreciate you joining again. Can David Washington play as a winger? I honestly don't know. I don't know him that much. I knew nothing about him until we signed him. What's your problem? Yeah, ask him. You slug it out with him. Let's see what else we have here. Washington looked good. Looked good in under Premier League 2 games. Okay. Was I not paying attention? But let's see. Poch, it's just not a problem-solving coach like Pep, Jose, and Tuchel. Wow, some argument right there. Let's see. Hello to you too, Kim So. I appreciate you finding the time to join. I hope you're doing well. Rafael, he's a very young. Cannot compare. Let's see. Defeat against Aston Villa. I'm not watching the game. I thought you're supporting PSG, and also what's the team that Aubameyang joined in the French league. I know you love him so much, and I love him too. He wasn't, again, the cause of you can say his time at Chelsea not being should I say productive. But Kim, so more importantly, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. We can't even beat a Forest, coach, but this is Chelsea. Charity FC is still well and truly in existence. And yeah, against the big boys, we do better. Against mid-table and bottom-table team, we struggle. That's who we are. David started playing as a winger before he was converted to a striker, so maybe he can play on the flanks too. But let the manager figure it out as soon as possible. But I think the run of games that people think that opposition teams are going to mop the floor with us, those are the games I actually think we end up getting good results from, in my opinion. Enzo is miles away of Gallagher. I don't need Einstein to tell me that, and I think you know that too. But you're just responding to what somebody is saying. He just runs around like a Jack Russell in the pack, but we don't. I think he brings something to the table too, in my opinion. But as long as he's not my favorite Chelsea player, he still brings something to the table. He's so similar to Martinelli. Okay. I think he gets a chance. I think the club could have sent him out on loan, but I think probably the manager is taking his time because he wasn't with us during the preseason. Yeah, Washington played yesterday, coach. Premier League 2 game or under 21s. Okay, thank you. Maybe I should start following those games, but I'm doing a lot already. And if you're a graphic designer and you're a member of the community, reach out to me. We're looking for a dedicated graphic designer. And if you have a plan for your own show, reach out to me, whether on this particular channel or on Soccer Perspective. Reach out to me. I will listen to you to see and give you opportunity to see how well you do. But that's, by the way, let's look at head-to-head. We played a total of how many times? 15. We won 15. They won 23 times. And we've won 15 times. They've won 5 times. And then 3 draws in total. And the last 4 games, I would have loved to see 5, but that's fine. We beat them in the Premier League. We beat them in the home 3-1. We beat them 2-0 in the Premier League also. So we did a double against them. Was that the same year? I'm not sure. And then we beat them 1-0 also. They beat us 1-0 at home in a club friendly. And then we beat them 2-0 in the Premier League. That's April. Was that April this year? Oh, they beat us 2-0 at home, actually. Wow. So the last time we met in the Premier League, they beat us 2-0 at home. So, yeah. Let's see what happens. I'm not too sure how this one is going to pan out. I have to be honest with you. But let's see. We defeated Man City yesterday. Yeah, maybe something you can say to cheer us up. I get it. It's in the Premier League too. Maybe that's a good sign, but let's see. Team form, they've lost 2 games and we've lost 2 games, but they've won 3 We've won two, and we drew one. It's pretty much balanced in that case. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Jerry Z.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's quite balanced. And again, like if we analyze, right, I'm talking about the how it's done in sports analytics and stuff like that.
Mhm.
The stats do matter, like all these stats. It depends what kind of stats are we looking. If you go back last year, 5 years, last 5 games, the teams are different, right? This Chelsea team is completely different. So there's no way we can relate these stats to to our team, right? It's a
Mhm.
completely new team, new manager. So, but yeah, we can see a pattern because so it will be tough, right? Because Unai Emery, I'm also a fan of Unai Emery. Like he's a very good tactician, right? So he'll definitely study Chelsea right to the point, right? He'll try to make it difficult for us. So, but I still think Chelsea will be favorites. We are playing at home, and we definitely are. We really are. I won't say desperate, but we really like want to win this game, and we have a better squad, right, with much better potential. It will be tough.
Yeah, but we have a better squad on paper, but we're not playing as a unit yet.
Yeah, so it will be interesting. See, that's why tactics would be very interesting. Will Unai Emery go more defensive? Why I'm saying this, this is important because Unai Emery would have studied, right? He's the
Mhm.
guy who's been reported to study videos more than any other player. He won't even sleep, like watching videos again and again and again, trying to find that particular point where he can make the difference. So on the surface, it's clear that Chelsea is really struggling to create and score goals. Not to create, I would say to score goals rather, right? So maybe he'll position his team. He'll use 4-4-2, but he'll position the team more defensively because he know he does he Villa doesn't need to score many goals to beat. Probably 3-4 goals to beat Chelsea. So he might be looking, why not we just hope we don't concede and score a goal or two, right? This is something I'm thinking about, right? Because didn't score the last 2 games, and Villa has a better defense. So maybe I won't say he's parked the bus, but he'll play in a way that won't give us many opportunities. And he
I
knows
wouldn't
that.
say he packs the bus. Just quickly, if you don't mind, but something about Unai Emery is he's found a way to disguise his defensive approach. He was like that at Arsenal. You can't come out to say he's so defensive, or you can't come out to say he's so offensive. He's just in the middle. I think he's a good tactician overall, honestly. But you go ahead with what you were saying. Sorry for cutting
I
you
agree
off.
with you. His tactics has evolved. It was different in Villarreal the first time, second time. PSG, he was very attacking. He used the players. He was very attacking with PSG. And Arsenal, yeah, he's. But if I'm not wrong, right? Correct. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But what I have observed, I think he's more of a defensive player. Sorry, manager. If we have to say, like he's more defensive, right? And so yeah, it will be interesting. He'll probably make his strategies exclusively for us, and it will be interesting. Like if he'll have players that will try to man mark us on the wings, because that is where we are lacking the creation.
Mhm.
It depends who we will start, right? If we'll start Mudryk or some other player, so he'll probably it's a problem. It's a possibility that he'll probably man mark some of our players, I would say, and not give us enough spaces. So it will come to fine details, right? I really think it will come to fine details. So again, as a Chelsea fan, what we can expect is a good start in the early goal, right? We need some luck as well. We played well, I would say. Not the best football, but there is no luck at all. Sometimes to turn the ship around, you need some luck. So let's see
Yeah.
what
Oh,
happens.
yeah. Even to win tournaments, you need some luck. It's not. It's your ability sometimes um, cannot or cannot always be all you needed to win tournaments or win games. But go ahead. Sorry for cutting you off, Jerry.
No, sir, it's really interesting. So yeah, it's something we don't know because Aston Villa is kind of different. Against Newcastle. They were so open in the first
Hmm.
game. They lost 5-1, right? And they
Hmm.
changed the strategy, right? He was using his wingers in the first game very high. It was some every pundit was very surprised that his winger are playing so high. He never used the winger so high, not like City or Chelsea, but he was very attacking and it backfired. So he came back a little bit defensive and then it worked, right? So it will be interesting. So of course pressure is more on Chelsea. All eyes are on Chelsea, and we don't want to lose. and then the fans to boo Poch and the players. So things could get bad. This is the scare. So Chelsea needs to win this game. They don't need to win this game to be in the top four. They can still be in the top four if we don't win tomorrow. But it's really important. I think it's about time. 1 win out of 5 is really not good enough, right?
No, it's not. It raises a lot of questions. I get it. We have issues such as how many players, starting players we have out injured, and the team not settled, and how many changes we've made in the team in total. But still, it's not good enough. Honestly, as much as I know, I'm seeing progress. Uh, you can say, yeah, it's concerning how wasteful we've been in front of goal.
Actually, when we talk about progress, you're correct. The first 2 games, even though we lost 3-1 to Villa, sorry, I'm always saying Villa to West Ham. We lost 3-1 to West Ham, but the first half was so delicious. I'm using the word, right? Against West Ham, when we considered the goal from the corner in the first 10 minutes, we were really good against West Ham. We missed the penalty. We could have scored 4 goals in the first half. And against Liverpool, right, we were really, really good. In my opinion, right? Maybe I could be wrong. In the second half, we were like, I came on your show and said how good we are in the first game. So I was thinking we'll really progress. So thing is, after Liverpool's game and West Ham game, although we drew against Liverpool and lost to West Ham, performance was really good. But then the performance dropped. Even against Wimbledon, it was really bad, I would say. In Carabao Cup, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth. So basically, it's a little bit slower, a little bit not so fluid as it was against Liverpool and West Ham. So that's why it's important to see like where Chelsea will go from here, right? And so many questions are there. And again, I'm very positive. I think if Chelsea, the fans and the board will give Poch time, and I'm saying give him time, keep on losing, give him time. What I'm saying is that it might take another 3 or 4 weeks, but I believe what I've studied that team will be very consistent, right? And will probably hit the top 4 mark. And you know why I'm saying that? Let me just conclude this specific topic what we're discussing. Because the sample size of Tottenham is huge. He worked at Tottenham for 5 years and 4 months, not for a season, and he was super consistent at Tottenham. After the first season, he finished in the top 4 every season with Tottenham, right? Every season. So he's a coach who has proved that his teams are consistent. They hardly lose a game or hardly draw a game, right? So it's like 3 wins and maybe a loss, 3 wins or maybe a draw. So a sample size is huge for Pochettino to say. And again, at Southampton as well, and then at Tottenham, the first season, the first 4 or 5 months were really bad when he joined Tottenham. And at PSG, I never really thought about this point of PSG, but now many people are saying again and again that he lost the league. When he joined PSG, he signed on 2nd January 2021 with PSG. Thomas Tuchel was sacked at Christmas, 5th December 2020. When he joined PSG, I'm not really backing Pochettino. I'm giving a different context, right? Just give me 2 minutes. I'll wind it up.
Yeah.
I'll wind it up. I won't make it long. So when he joined PSG, when Tuchel was sacked, I'm not saying Tuchel is bad. I'm really a big fan of Tuchel, of course. But PSG was at number 3 when Pochettino joined them. And then there was an issue of lockdown, a huge issue of lockdown, there's players getting COVID on and off. So he started very slow at PSG as well. His first few games, he lost some games, drew some games. So what I'm trying to relate is he was there for 4 or 5 months and then they finished second. And again, Lille, right? Were also winning many of their games. So it didn't give him enough time to opportunity to win the game. But yeah, he was very inconsistent with PSG when he started. Same with Tottenham, same with Southampton, and even same with Espanyol. So this is as a statistician and people who can analyze, this is a very common theme with Pochettino, right? He starts slow, he'll lose games, but again, if he was given time, then he has really been consistent. He has shown to be very consistent, and that's why I really believe it will work with Pochettino and this team. So this is why I really back Pochettino, and I really think he's a very good coach, great technician, very good tactically management. And with this young team, it will probably take a little bit more time, but I think let's put it this way, the probability is really high to succeed than to fail, right? So this is what I'll conclude my conversation with.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I will take care of something quickly. Yeah, there you go. I've done what I
Absolutely,
want to do.
absolutely.
This says those previous results don't matter. This is a better side. Aston Villa. I think I agree with you. They were better than they're playing well better than they did last season. So yeah, let's see what else we have here. That's the thing. He's not a liability. He's a massive creative outlet. But we have a slow, predictable attack, which is why I said, look at Poch since he changed his tactics. The whole team looks lost. And I responded to this argument you have on the screen there, or the comment you have on the screen, by saying we have an entirely new team. No matter how good or no matter how you can say how quick they're capable of progressing the ball, at this point we cannot. We I would say we can't see that at this point until the team gels properly. There's lack of chemistry, lack of proper chemistry. There's also you can say uh, the team isn't. You can say, let me just use the term, the team isn't playing as a unit yet, and that can be detrimental to how quickly the team is capable of progressing the ball. In my opinion, that's how I see it. Let's see what else we have here. Rafael, okay, just having a conversation there. I'm not going to get in that. You should have the conversation you're having there. Let's see anything else. Which is in a response to the conversation you're having there. And Constantine Dante, I did something, and I think you should recognize what I did if you're paying attention. Enzo is not pacey, but he can feed out. He can feed out of tight spaces and pass fantastically. He does not need to develop his shooting, but so does the whole team. What does Gallagher? His thing. I'm not going to start comparing players, and I don't think we should. Gallagher is a player in his own rights, and as much as I'd say he's not my favorite Chelsea player, yeah, I agree. You don't need to be the quickest to be effective on the pitch. Your intelligence, more importantly, can lead you so far in the can lead you very far in the game. He has a good vision. He has a good passing range, and Enzo can actually shoot. Yeah, I get it. It hasn't worked for him since he joined Chelsea, but I think that will change in due time. But that's just my opinion. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join. Poch needs to play players and their strength. It's simple, especially that's especially the truth when you're talking about young players. They don't do well when you play them out of position. Experienced players, yeah, can adapt quickly. Young players, you end up confusing them. You can say that's you can say in terms of playing players in multiple positions. That's one of the reasons why you'd say we're not seeing the best of Ethan Ampadu yet. That's because he's played in multiple positions. The defense, you name it. Good day, everyone in the house. So Agile Yedikachi, always nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. So thank you all for finding the time to join us this morning. Anything else? And a big up to my bro Chelsea Dan. Much love to you. Always nice to see you, brother. I can't wait for you to start streaming again on your channel. Don't give up. You were firing an Arsenal in this, and what happened, I honestly do not know. It says, Coach out. Hope you're well, pal. I can't complain, and I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Thank you so much, Dan. I hope your family, you and yours are all well. Yes, you said Gallagher is talented. Okay, you guys go ahead. Slug it out there. Thanks, Coach. Not sure what it means, but thanks. More power. It just means more power. Yeah. But wow, you have to make fun of every situation, Constantine. You're not gonna kill me. This says Pochettino, he is experienced coach, and just give him a chance. And like Jerry did mention there, he's had a rough he had a rough start at Tottenham, also at Southampton, so he will come good. Takes time. You can say his preferred approach to football takes time to implement, and I think he will come good. So I appreciate that. Let's see what else we have here. One more question I want to ask Jerry Z quickly. It looks like he went out and back on again. I wasn't okay. Just go ahead. I have more power. Yeah. And probably if you understand, you should know why I gave you that. Because you can say you have to. I must say you're probably the most mature in terms of the way you operate as a moderator. I love that. You don't you can say ban people because of their opinion. You respect everybody's opinion and give them time and try to educate them. You ask them to tone it down and align their approach with the way we operate here. We're not into name calling and all that. So thank you. I appreciate you. Wish that's a way for me to say, yeah, I want to pay you back and be able to do that. But unfortunately, I just have to say thank you and thank you alone. And Santiago Muno says, let's talk about Pochettino's tactics. Before we do that, let me ask you this, Jerry Z. What's the question I was going to ask you? I think you did talk about that the last time we had a live show. You talked about the head to head between the managers. Can you please do that again? You talked about you can say the head to head in Spain and then also in the Premier League. Can you please talk about that?
Yeah, so they have played 11 games head to head.
In total,
including the La Liga games and Premier League. Unai Emery has the edge. 6 wins to Poch's 4 wins, and 1 game was a draw. So it's I mean, of course, it doesn't imply that tomorrow will be a result, but if you see the stats, out of 11 games, 10 games were concluded with a victory of either side. So only 1 game was a draw. So it's a 60% win for Unai Emery if you take out the draw. But most of the games, 7 of them were played in La Liga. 4 games were played recently, like in 2018 to 2019 period when Unai Emery was at Arsenal. Poch was, of course, at Spurs. So they played 4 games. Poch won 2, Unai 1, and 1 was a draw. So it's close, right? It's very close.
Yeah, you can say it's pretty much balanced. But let's talk about in the Premier League. Poch has the edge.
Yeah, Poch won 2 games and Unai won 1 game head to head. Yeah,
that was when he was Arsenal manager.
Yes, and Spurs, but again, Spurs were firing at that time, right? They were doing really great under Pochettino. So you see, a lot of context would come. Pochettino Spurs were really settled. Poch was doing really good with Spurs. So again, if we have this game after, let's say, 5 months, maybe Chelsea would be in a better place, right? So what I'm trying to say is, when we see the stats, we also have to see that right now Chelsea is not in a very good position, right?
No, we're not. Yeah, we're not. And I did forget to look at the table. Actually, we are 14th in the table, and
put a static with 14.
As 7th. Yeah, go ahead.
This is a false table, right? After 5 games, I would say a false.
Yeah,
false 14.
Yeah. No need to read too much into that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, please go on. Sorry, I cut you. You were looking.
No, go ahead. You didn't cut me off. We've looked at it. They're 7th, and we are 14th.
Yeah, but can you tell me how many points Villa have?
Villa has 9 points.
9 points. We have 5, right? If we win tomorrow, tomorrow, Chelsea would have 8 points, and Villa will only be 1 point ahead. So you see what I'm trying to say. 14 and 7 doesn't make
a win could make a lot of difference.
Doesn't mean anything at all because the games are only 5, right? So 1 win here and there could take us at a higher position.
Let me ask you this question. Let me humor my assistant there in the chat. I like him so much. He's a gentleman. He hardly gets pissed if Chelsea aren't doing well. It takes a lot to push him over the edge, to get him to the edge that he starts using speaking French, if you know what I mean. But what I want us to talk about here, if you want to talk about in totality why the manager, his approach to the game seems a bit too defensive. A bit too defensive, especially when we play with a back 3. If we play with a back 3, you have 3 center backs, and then he's still playing traditional full backs in the wing back rows, which means that makes it a total of 7 defensive players in the back 3. I think he reduces in a back 4. For me, also in the back 4, I would argue we can play with actually a single 6. 1 6 will suffice. 1 traditional 6, such as Ugochukwu, will suffice. Then giving the manager the opportunity to play 1 more player in the attacking area. But the question I want to ask overall is this: why do you think? I've tried to answer that question, but I'll let you go first. Why do you think it just seems as if he's being a bit too cautious? Would you say he's being a bit too cautious, or would you say he's being as cautious as he should be? For any reason you wanna talk about it, let's hear you.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and again, very technical question, right? Because even myself included, I was really surprised that the Poch went to back three because it's not his signature. Even though he used back three with Tottenham, but sometimes, right? Maybe about 10% of the time. So it's not his trademark at all. And when
Mm,
you have such a squad with such amazing talent, with such pace, right? Because his system and his methodology, his tactics is all about. I mean, it's not all about, but pace is an important ingredient of his tactics,
mhm.
right? So he's using back three. It really surprised me. So answering this question, the first game when Chelsea took on Liverpool, I thought it was a very it was a tactic for particularly for the Liverpool game, and I thought maybe it was a mastermind, right? Because we know how great, and I don't want to appreciate Liverpool too much. You can understand what I'm saying. So Liverpool is, of course, like an amazing team, right? When it comes to attack. So I thought it was a tactic just for the Liverpool game, and I think many people also thought that, right? So we appreciated that it was a great tactic because we would have been left very open, right, and could have lost that game. But again, when the next when the next game happened, West Ham and all the games that came after that, it was always a back three, and he will say it's a hybrid back three, it's a four. But I do agree, it doesn't look like a back four, right? So I was also very surprised that why he is using back three. And with my personal assessment or the analysis I did, I won't say that he's being too cautious. I won't really say that he's being too cautious or concerned that it's a young team, they will leak goals. I don't think this is the narrative. And again, we have to be very honest, we can only assume, right? We don't really have the data or any indication that
We
why
don't know
he's
what he
using it.
has in mind. That is just us concluding what we think
Yeah.
he's doing.
So my conclusion is it's a little bit unorthodox. When he left PSG, I forgot his name, and I'm really good at remembering all these names. The French guy who took from Poch. Anyhow, you know what I'm saying, who I'm referring to. He was using a
Mhm,
back 3-3-4-2-1 system, and it worked. Some of the issues that Poch had were making PSG open at the back. They were settled with the 3-4-2-1 system that was used when Poch was sacked and the new French manager took it. So I'm assuming he studied that as well. And again, he is here to win the league, right? No one is asking maybe him to win the league. He was there at Tottenham and he was confined or he was restricted with the finance. He, of course, wants to win. Maybe, again, I'm saying this is all hypothetical, right? I'm not claiming that this is the thing. He is thinking that rather than at Spurs, if you see, he was winning some games 4-0, 5-1, 6-2s, and all that. And again, many points that he dropped were like conceding a lot of goals as well. So
mhm.
maybe he's thinking that let's be a little bit pragmatic, a little bit defensive. We have the players, we have the profile to score enough goals. Maybe he's thinking to win the league or to really score high, to be consistent. Maybe, as he said, I have really, he used how he says in the press conferences, improved as a manager. Maybe his philosophy or Jesus' philosophy is that maybe it's better over the period of 38 games in the league. Maybe he had a framework where he sees that playing this way might not be so lucrative on the eye, may not be that attacking, but he'll probably have more points. No, this is what I'm trying to say. Maybe this is what he saw, or maybe this is as a whole, right? Or maybe he sees some of the player, he can integrate Thiago Silva, he can integrate this player or that player. So it's a combination of a lot of things. And whatever I'm saying is hypothetical, right? And my own assessment. So all of these answers will be answered very soon in the next 4 or 5 games. If he sticks to this back three, this is what he will try to do. But he'll go back to 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. So we'll see that. It's an interesting observation. So my own take is that he sees the back three as an opportunity to probably get more points, which is not working right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I had again for me. I've always paid attention. The modern day back three, on the certain managers, they don't do that of just because they want to have more defenders on the pitch. I think they do that with an attacking intent. But the manager, given the personnel on the pitch, people interpret that as him wanting to be more defensive than offensive. But that's we'll get to that in a bit. But thank you, Jerry. I appreciate you finding the time to join. I think yeah, stay with us. Stay with us. Don't go yet, except if you have anything planned. Yeah, it's not an obligation. But Roger, I appreciate you joining. Roger, I must let you know the love has been pouring in from those in the chat, especially the Bluetooth game. Jokingly asked after you, but followed it up with something serious, showing that yeah, we miss you, but we understand it's not an obligation to be on the panel here. We have all the things that trumps being part of the show, even though we enjoy doing this pro bono job. We don't but it's enjoyable. It's part of our life. We live and breathe blue, so we enjoy it. Fortunately for us, when things aren't going the right direction, it can be, yeah, you can say it's really usually not good for our mental health. But that's by the way, Roger. Let me start by asking you this question before I go. I ask you the same question that Jerry just answered. Are you looking forward to this one? If yes, let us know why. If no, you let us know why.
I'm apprehensive. And hola, gentlemen. How are you?
Gracias. Assalamu alaikum. Hawaiian.
Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you.
Swadika.
Sawadika, indeed,
Yeah,
sir.
That's Thai, right?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Thank you. And you know he lives in Thailand, Jerry Z. But go ahead, Roger.
See, notice, Jerry, I didn't say Sawadi Cup. Huh?
Yeah, I got it. I got that.
I wouldn't do that to coach. So listen, gentlemen. By the way, I missed the show too. By the way, it's been a tough.
No, we miss you. We miss you. On my part, you can say no, sorry that I didn't reach out to know how you're doing.
No, not at all, sir. Not at all. I want to say I'm apprehensive to answer your question because, and I'm going to answer it, but also it's going to be a bit conflicting to what Jerry's logic is. And Jerry,
okay, you want to answer both questions at the same time?
Well, listen, I respect Jerry very much. He's very analytical, very cerebral. I wish it had rubbed off on you, coach, but here we go. So, so what Jerry says has been 100% accurate from my perspective anyway. However, there's one thing that differentiates you mentioning PSG or Tottenham and even Southampton to a greater extent, and that is the fact that those teams were relatively balanced per se with regards to experience. If you take out, I think we have 3 players in the outfield or above the age of 26 or above the age of 25. This is an abnormally young squad, not team, squad. They're fetuses.
They're fetuses.
Yeah, they are. They're embryotic in their stages.
Just hold on, Roger. Just quickly, you remember Mario?
Yeah, why?
There's suddenly a time I talk about him that he doesn't mention. If we start talking about players, he doesn't say, as Roger would say, they're fittest.
Yeah. Listen, a lot of them are teenagers. They're young. I remember being that young. It's like you're oblivious to life. They're so young.
I am that young, Roger.
Okay, all right, whatever. Thanks for rubbing
it in. Go ahead,
in.
Roger. Don't mind Ty. Don't mind.
Ty, always a pleasure, sir. Always a pleasure. No, but this is
go ahead.
This is a very, very youthful squad, and I think that's what Poch didn't have before. He had more of a balanced squad, and I think this is
even though he had a lot of young players.
Yes.
It was still much more balanced than us, and they weren't like an entirely new team as we have right now. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, our squad is under the age of 24. It's like 23.
Did I tap in or was I onside?
Yeah, that's debatable as always, coach. It's like I think our squad is like 23.76 years of age, and that includes a 39-year-old. You know, I mean, let's put that into perspective. Seriously, think about this for a second. So, listen, this isn't, and even prior to this squad being completely rebuilt, what have we had in common for the last 2+ seasons? A large XG, but with a very, shall we say, inefficient finishing. I think we're 18th in the league this year in finishing, creating finishing chances, and also I believe what's the stat for great chances? I forgot the actual
big chances created or
big
XG.
chances. Yeah, exactly. So two of the chances, like either XG conversion and big chances created, were like 18th and 90th. It's poor, coach. So this is the underlying fact. Listen, goals change games. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the fact that we have historically not been able to convert, but right now I'm looking at Jackson, who is a different player completely to pre-season. Pre-season, he was so composed, he was so clinical. He is but a shadow of himself in pre-season. He looks like a completely different player. Now, does that mean he can't change? Of course not. Or revert back to his pre-season form? Of course not. But I'm saying this is what's the huge differentiator. The fact that our inability to convert and the lack of leadership and experience, I think these are the factors that differentiate Pochettino, who I really do like, if you remember from day one. But
I remember. Yeah.
But then he has not been exposed to these factors. And I think this is the underlying factors, in my humble opinion. And so I'm apprehensive because I'm not saying I don't have faith, but you keep on going back to the well. And that's what I'm doing each and every time, saying, listen, on paper, on paper, the game isn't played on paper. We should be top 5 to top 8, but we are playing. And when I say playing, listen, we've been, for the most part, the better team in virtually every game we've played on the Poch. But the points total, it tells the story. Can it change? Of course it can. Is it likely to? Unless we add listen, Broja could come in and he could be the second coming of Kane, etc. We don't know. And Cuckoo could return, and one doesn't know. But
there's no guarantee.
No, and based on what I'm seeing thus far, it looks like we're going to need someone with the ability of, for instance, a Tony or whatever, because there's not just up front. The goals are not coming from all over the pitch, which historically, this is what defines a successful team. And I've said this week in, week out, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
That's a problem.
This is my, not to be juxtaposed or anything you chaps have said, but this is my logic involved. And I think, what is it? The definition of insanity is repeating the same mistakes and expecting a different result.
There's something I wanted you to say. It is wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But Roger, let's bring you back. For instance, when we played with the back three, we had 7 defensive players on the pitch. In my opinion,
only
yeah. That's with 3 center backs, 2 full backs, 2 traditional full backs, and then 2 sixes. I get it when you have a 2-6 of Enzo and one of the player, Enzo is usually charged. He's usually allowed to be whatever he wants to be on the pitch. Let's say at least 6 defensive players. And you've heard me you try to explain why I think that's the case. But let's hear from you before I explain why I think the manager has been doing that. Why do you think that's the case? Even when we had traditional wingers on the bench, we see Benchua operating as a winger, and that didn't go down well with a lot of with the fan base. But you go ahead. Why do you think that's the case?
Myself included. Why?
Yeah.
Because of the reasons I mentioned before. The lack of experience, the amount of youth that is ubiquitous throughout the squad, regardless of position, because of the fact that he can't trust the team.
I'm only able to remember the meaning of that word because of my computer class.
No, okay, omnipresent, however you want to term it.
Yeah, but it's a good. You're helping me. You can say, but go ahead, Roger.
It's because of the huge injection of youth throughout each line. There's 3 lines plus a goalkeeper.
So he has to somehow find a balance.
Exactly, and you see this time and time again, where a coach / manager is criticized for picking or not choosing youth, even though that would be the majority of wishes. It's because he has to go with experience, because his job is on the line. Don't forget, this is a job for him. You know, you have to understand, not just his family relies on it, but his coaching staff and their families, etc., etc. So it's human nature to go with the tried and tested people. Put yourself in his position. You would probably revert to a certain extent that kind of mentality, and this is why he's done it. I can't fault him for it, even though I don't agree with it for the most part, but I understand him and virtually every other coach that's come before him, why they result to this. It's human nature, coach.
Yeah, but I agree with you. For me, the reason I think that's the case is because we have an entirely new team and too many young players.
Squad,
like you
coach,
mentioned.
not team.
Yeah.
Squad.
Yeah, squad. Yeah. Yeah, in total. Yeah, exactly. And as you mentioned, too many young players. So he has to somehow find a balance. So as much as again, he's trying to be offensive, but at the same time, he's trying to be defensively cautious, which has led to him playing with a player with a defensive instincts, or a player that's traditionally a defender in the left wing position. That will help him achieve balance to a certain extent. But because we've not been winning games as people think we should be winning, we haven't won games people believe we should have won. To me, believe we should have won. To me, it becomes an issue. And the truth remains, had we been clinical in front of goal, I don't think people would be talking much about that. Only a few people would. But that's by the way. Let me keep those in the chat, the microphone. Then I'll come back to Ty as quickly as I can. Coach, I think he will go with 4-3-3 formation as Cole will be. Who will be in CB? Really? Okay, I'm not too sure what you're saying. The Jersey. We don't need to assume Poch. He said it himself. He wanted to be more defensive, not risk it, which means that brings us to what we've been saying. That seems seeking balance. Agile Edikachi said the Poch should pick the right players, put them in their natural positions, motivate them, and allow the game to flow. That will show when a player is flopping or the coach's formation is to blame. Wow, some argument. Do you know Ian Matson can play as a 10? I think we did see that during the season. Is he specialized in fulfilling that particular role? I'll say no. And Mohammed says, hey, mate, it's Chilwell starting tomorrow. There's no way to tell who starts tomorrow. Chances are we'd still see Levi Colwell playing the left back position. And then Chilwell, even if he starts, maybe chances are we'd see him play in the left as a left winger. We don't know. We don't have too much to work with in terms of trying to predict what Mauricio Pochettino would do. But Bukenya, I think that's the first time we're seeing you here. I appreciate you finding the time to join. And Rashi, go sort out your goalkeeping issue before you come talk to us. Yeah, let's see what else we have here. Okay. Hi, Roger. I don't know what language he's speaking there, Roger. I think you should look at it and probably you'd understand what he's saying there. I keep dropping the okay. I think I think you're responding already. I keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. And Constantine Dante says, I think a few nights of realistic Roger is enough. Not every night, because then you start hearing a ringing noise in your ear. I think you miss him so much. You just can't gather the courage to say, yeah, this is how much you've been missing, Roger. Hi, Coach. I saw Brighton, Aston Villa, and Aberdeen getting defeats on their opening matches in Europe. Brighton should have beaten Athens. Okay, thank you for that. And nice to see you, Patrick Joyce. I hope you're doing well. You can see Constantine Dante happy, smiling to see Roger on the panel.
Likewise, Constantine.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. The Chelsea players, I don't want to pronounce this. I pronounce it as it's written there. The Chelsea players they're good. Roger, just go away.
That's funny. I'm sorry.
The Chelsea players, they're good. Let's give them a chance because, yeah, they're new players. I think I agree with you. They need time to gel. I couldn't agree more. Draw will be best result for Chelsea. Rain, but let's see what happens, brother. I appreciate you joining. Aston Villa next European game is against HSK. Okay, at Villa Park at the start of October. they should be able to beat them. Okay, thank you. I am predicting Chelsea win 3-0. You've gotten it all wrong since the season started. Honestly, I have to be honest with you. Let's see. We aren't scoring 3 goals. Chelsea still toss it till I die. And if we're going by the statistics we looked at, yeah, they're most likely to outscore us. The good thing is that we have the best defensive record in the league at present. Roger, we have tried to so hard to stay positive. We dust ourselves off and go again. That's how it should be.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's how it should be. And I appreciate all the updates from Patrick Joyce. The problem is we don't overload the opposition penalty area, leaving Jackson isolated in attack. And
that's a valid point.
Yeah, leading to him sometimes dropping deep to come for the ball. Yeah, but go ahead, Roger. If you want to, you sound like you wanted to add something to that.
Yeah, no, that's anything other than that is a tap in. But it's so true. We don't attack with numbers, and it does seem that every time we do indeed do this, when we flood the box, we get caught on the counter. So I understand why.
Yeah, so I agree with you. If we don't flood the opposition area with more players, it becomes easier for them. Our attack will be easier for them to deal with. So it just makes sense. Just show Roger. Unless you take away the experience, coaches will. Just shows. Yeah, coaches will never play the youth. Yeah. I agree with you. I think I started paying attention to that last season. Where Roger was arguing that the manager will always go to the most experienced players in difficult situations, and it makes sense. Hi Donkey, hope you're good. Wow, I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it sounds like something crazy to me. Chelsea fans, we are going to happen. Okay, is that we? Are you saying what's going to happen? I know Mr. Pochettino is going to work and to finish to solve the problem. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Yes, Mitchie Boy being a typical Chelsea fan, just intentionally saying, having a conversation with Nightbot there. Yeah, hope we don't dust ourselves endlessly. Yeah, I think I like that one. Yeah, so for me, in my opinion, I think we've talked about that. We have to get into looking at the games, looking at the get back to the match preview proper. And I'm gonna come back. Let's go to Ty. Ty hasn't spoken. Apologies. So Ty, if you're there, are you looking forward to this particular game? If yes, let us know why. If no, let us know why. And then
there's no escape.
We also want to hear you talk about why you think the manager has been a bit too he's been cautious. And do you think he's been too cautious, or do you think he's just doing what he should be doing? But up to you. You start by letting us know whether you're looking forward to this one, Ty.
Yeah, so I have to speak no matter what. I can't not.
Hello,
You
Ty.
give me no choice. Yeah, hello, Roger. And I'm surprised to see that Jerry Z is actually not a chat GPT, and he's not using a text to speech. I'm actually surprised.
You're surprised to see that Jerry Z isn't a machine?
Yeah. I'm just joking there.
Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really. I wouldn't say that I'm looking forward to this game. I haven't looked forward to any game in a very long time, if I'm being honest. So yeah, but I don't know. There's a lot of statistics. I was listening to this the head-to-head and the stats, and it doesn't really look positive. If you look at the table in itself, even though the on in terms of the goals that goals done, that's what GD means. I don't remember the exact meaning for it. Aston Villa have won, but I'm sure they've scored goals as well, and they have 9 points in comparison to our 5. But there's a lot of problems, and you guys started to allude to some of them, which in a sense is one of the reasons why I'm not really looking forward to the game, because if there's not any change, then obviously it's going to be the same old, which is we're either dominating possession, we're having opportunities, we're having touches in the box, and those little stats that are always there. But at the end of the day, it doesn't lead to a goal. It doesn't lead to threatening the goalkeeper. And if I'm being honest, I do think that Pochettino is being a bit too cautious. I understand why he's being cautious, but I think it's too cautious because I understand, and I've always said that when he's played Chilwell, for example, as a left winger or as a left winger or somebody as a forward, it's in a sense a way for him to be able to switch to a defensive forward, because he's one that loves to have a team that is defensively solid. That's the reputation that he has. So in terms of having an extra defender in an advanced position, somebody that has a good shot on them if they strike the ball popular, if they're in a good position, it makes sense. And having him being able to come back and also defend as a natural left back, and then you have a Levi Cole who can slot in as a left centre back, and he shapes making an L shape. I understand the thought process behind it, but it's too cautious because it's not working. And I do feel like he's realized that he's having more injuries, and the best thing to do is to keep certain players fit. So by using other players who he hopes and have some ability, and these are, and sometimes I think being versatile can be your worst enemy, because you're gonna have the manager playing in every type of position. Levi Cole's ability to pass the ball good is something that will cause him to be played out of position. Whether or not he's good as a wide player in terms of distribution and getting up the pitch is another question.
He's lacking in some aspects that you need to see from your fullback. Well, go ahead. You there, Ty?
Yeah, I'm there. There's some delay I think the
Oh,
connection
okay.
is a
Just
bit
go ahead.
bad.
Just go ahead.
You were talking, yeah, but yeah, I think that is one of the reasons. But I do think Pochettino is being a bit too cautious. I think the formation, I think he needs to lighten up a bit. I think he needs to take more risks. Yes, we have injuries, but at the same time, we do have a lot of young players who will be hungry for minutes. They'll be hungry to perform and to help the team in a situation where they're written off. There's no European football. There's a squad that is probably a bit much for a team that has no competition at least yet in the week. So in terms of that, I think he needs to lighten up a bit and take more risks, because yes, I understand being cautious when you have a squad that is inexperienced and filled with players like Roger was saying, that is what 23 point something, 23.7 or something along those lines, and having approximately what 4 players that are in total over the age of 25 or 25. It's a very young team, so patience is required. It's not going to be something that just clicks overnight. And like I had said in the past, chemistry needs to be developed. There, it's a new team essentially. A lot of players that, whether or not they were performing good, they had chemistry with each other, and they're gone. And some players, I think there's 2 players, I think it's two players from the original team that won it Champions League or at the club still. I think it's 2, Chilwell and Silva. Is there anybody else? I don't. And James is there as well. But you when you look at that, you have to remember that chemistry needs to be developed, and it's not something easy. And one of the downfall is the fact that a lot of these key players that are playing now came in after preseason, so any sort of chemistry with certain players will not be there. Jackson, like Roger was saying, he does look the same player, but I do think there's factors, which is, as it was also said in before, he's isolated quite a lot. And that's one of the reasons why, and that's one thing I respect about him. He's not a player who just waits for the ball to come to him. He tries to come deep and try to be part of the play. And it's not a case of he's performing poorly. He's not finishing. He's not clinical in that area, but he's still creating. He's still making good passes. Still making good decisions. He's impacting the game as well. But they at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if he's doing that, because the pressure will be on him to score goals, because he is the striker and he's playing as the center forward that should be finishing the chances. And when you're not scoring goals, the first player you look to is your central striker or your forward. So in a sense, the pressure is there. But I do think Pochettino needs to line up a bit and take more risks, because without that, you won't know the full potential, and being cautious is not really going to let you see the potential and the highest potential, because you're gonna be careful. And I mean, right now, we need to start picking up more points. Averaging 1 point so far, it's not really positive. It's not something that a lot of fans will be willing to get behind. And for what he says, he wants to win this and he wants to win that. People are going to hold him to that. So he's going to have to be careful. He's going to have to come out and be more cautious, despite the injuries we have.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ty. I appreciate that detailed response from you. Hope we don't adjust ourselves endlessly. That's funny, at the same time truthful. I hope we don't go through, you could say, such, go through such throughout the season and then be dusting ourselves off and standing up endlessly. Chelsea Sessions, that's the link to Ty's YouTube channel. Please go check it out. Let's help him add some cushion to 1,000 subscribers. And again, Ty, once more, welcome to the 1,000 subscribers club. I hope you get to 2,000 as soon as possible. You deserve that. But probably because of lack of enough time on your hands, you stream sparingly. You don't release videos that much, but still, the quality
And
means, you're doing well overall.
The resources.
Sorry?
The resources as well. The resources to do competent streams. It doesn't have to be glorious like yours, but for a start, because obviously things like that. But I mean, in terms of availability, like you said, to make videos to add more cushion to it. Yeah, that's for, obviously you'd know the reason why availability isn't there, and probably some people would assume. But yeah, thank you.
That will happen. Again, I'm always here. We're working together, bro. You've helped me in so many ways, and I will always help you as much as I can. And we have Vic in the chart. Why is Enzo in the 10th position? Shouldn't that be Palmer? That's not us. That's what's their name again? That's Fort Mob's predicted lineup, and for us, chances are the manager would do the same again. And the reason being, Enzo is the most creative player who gets a chance to start, given what we believe the manager would do. I know if we go by what we think will be best for the club, Enzo probably will not be starting in the 10 role. I'd rather Gallagher play there. Gallagher at least carries goal threat, gets in the box more often than Enzo does. And yeah, Gallagher is actually relatively creative. He can create chances in that position. Enzo can, but I think Enzo will do more for us from a deeper position, in my opinion. Yeah, Mitchie Boy shares a link to his channel. He's another one of those who just joined the 1,000 subscribers club. Please, let's help him add some cushion to that. He's doing so well. He streams every day, whether he's there or not, whether replays, but all enjoyable streams. Even if you want to listen, you don't have to see the faces of those talking. You can actually listen and still enjoy it. Very calm. But that's, by the way, I click the 3 dots to his name, or he has a link there. So why click the 3 dots? Go check it out. Be sure to subscribe. It says a channel fan chat, a channel based on Coach's model. More thanks to you for all the support. I appreciate that. So if you enjoyed, the point is, if you enjoy Chelsea Perspective, you will enjoy Chelsea Mitchell Voice YouTube channel too, and I can assure you that. So let's get into the lineup prediction exercise. Hopefully the manager will start seeing some changes. But Roger, the question I want to ask you is this: I don't know if I've asked you that question, and that's what I think is going to happen. Let me make it a bit more difficult for you. I think, given the manager's comments, I don't think he'd risk. I don't think he would want to risk Moses Caicedo starting because in his absence, Lesley Ugochukwu did a very good job. And for me, I've argued that before. He's the only traditional DM we have within our ranks. Others are more like a hybrid of 8 and 6, or you could say 8 or box to box. So what do you think? I think he did enough for me. He should be starting the next game. Let Caicedo take his time to recover fully. But what do you think, Roger?
Yeah, what's his status, by the way?
Not too sure. Doubtful. And the manager did say they will assess him today to see whether he's ready or not. Which sounded to me, which sounds as if, I don't think they would want to risk it. If he isn't, go ahead.
Yeah, based on the fact that we've been hit inordinately high, I believe that why, tempt fate. It doesn't make sense. You have to be even more cautious based on the fact that you're experiencing so many injuries in your squad. I would assume that he would be more cautious, more pragmatic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it will be. He wouldn't want to risk it. Then why do we have squad depth then? Because Ugochukwu has proven he can come in and do a good enough job. For me, actually, he operates. He's not. What's the term I'm using? Should I say rash? He's not as rash as Casado. Casado may you could say as he looks more aggressive than Ugochukwu does. Ugochukwu can be aggressive, and Ugochukwu, if he shields the ball, you can't get the ball off of him. That's one thing. And I think he's more aligned to the way Mikel Obi and Makalele operates. They're not the most physical, but they read the game very well. When they're not challenging for the ball, they're occupying spaces. They've read where the dangers are and occupying those spaces as such, making it difficult for the opposition. Ty, I don't know. You have anything to add to that one? Yeah, go ahead, Roger.
Oh, sorry. Do you think? Listen, to me, Caicedo, the very little that we have seen from him play for Chelsea, he seems a little bit out of sorts. He's uncharacteristically rash in some of his challenges.
Yeah.
You think that's the fact that perhaps he's feeling the pressure of the price tag and wants to impress, or do you think that's purely coincidence?
At this point, purely coincidence maybe, and at this point, I'd like to believe it's all because he's still in his preseason, just like we argued for who's the guy, Robert Sanchez, and he's looking sharper and sharper after every game. So maybe that's the case. And naturally he's rash. Naturally he can be rash sometimes. You remember he's still very young, isn't he? Just 21.
Something around there. He's
at most
early
22.
20s.
So yeah, he's still a bit raw, but I know he's played enough. He's got good enough experience in the Premier League, but he's still rash. And I wouldn't, as long as we have Ugochukwu, if Ugochukwu is ready, honestly, I would.
Yeah,
I
he's 21.
Sorry,
he's 21.
21. Oh, you see, okay, you have him in your spreadsheet.
Indeed. 10 months and 21 days.
Yeah, so he's still very young. So yeah, I would try to play Ugochukwu in that position and play with a 4-3-3 structure to accommodate the Ugochukwu centrally, flanked by Moses Caicedo and what's his name, and Enzo Fernandez. And if Lavia is playing, because I think Lavia he beats the press. I don't know. I haven't taken my time to compare Lavia and Ugochukwu to see who's better at beating the press. But they're both good at it. And one thing I've also seen from Ugochukwu is his passing ability. But that's, by the way, thank you. Go check out Mitchell Boy's YouTube channel. And this here says, hey, guys, come join in an hour if you fancy a road to 400. Yes, let's help him get to 400 subscribers. He's one of us and very, very a good person, more importantly. So, yeah, we should go help him out. Mitchie's only problem is don't ever know when you are live. Are you subscribed? Do you have the notification? Did you click on the notification bell? If you do that, then you'd know. And Mitch, maybe you should start scheduling the shows at least 3 hours earlier or 2 hours earlier, so that Google will index it and then send out notification to people on time. If that makes sense. Yep. Let's see, Dan. Yep, all here for you. Cautiousness hasn't helped us this season. I expect Caicedo to start and Broya on the bench. I honestly don't think Caicedo start, but we'll see. Vic, more importantly, nice to see you, Vic. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we have here. Jackson is 1 yellow card away from suspension. The earlier we get Broya up and running, the better. Let's understand something.
Hold on. He's got 4 yellow cards already.
Yep. I'm not shocked. That's because he's an aggressive player. But let me ask you this question, Roger, so that we can clarify something. If he misses a game, if he doesn't get a yellow card in this particular game, and does that mean the FA starts counting again, or it doesn't matter when it gets to 5?
No, so if he gets yellow carded, his next yellow card will be 5. Then the next game he has to miss.
It doesn't matter whether he gets it in the next 2 games.
No, it's irrelevant. It's the 5th, and then it goes up to 10, and then I believe there is a date that it's reset afterwards. I can't recall. I can't recall after the 10 game, but there is actually a reset button. I think it could be off.
But it's 1 game suspension.
For the 5, yes, and I
For
believe
5 yellow cards, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe
I-
it's a 1-game suspension for 10 also, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay,
Been a
but more
long
importantly,
time.
I think Vic's points here is that the earlier we get Broya up and running, the better. I think I agree with you. So we should be ready to do without Jackson because the 50 yellow card will come so very soon. Given the way he applies himself on the pitch, that's just how I see it. And let's see, Mitchell puts his replay shows as live shows all the time. Are you telling him he should stop doing that? This game, we're going to win a 3-0. That's Douglas and Dumbo. I hope so. But here's the thing. What gives me confidence is that I haven't seen a lot of people say we're going to win. A lot more people think we're going to lose this one.
I don't see Aston Villa scoring 3 own goals. How are we going to score? Sorry.
So you're saying the opposition has been helping us to score goals?
No, we're not clinical. We're far from it. We're a far cry from it, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, I actually would like to see Washington over Broya. Broya, just given that Broya is just returning, and you can say the manager decided to keep Washington for a reason. So maybe he gets a chance. How soon? I don't know. But the fact that he didn't he didn't go travel to the US for the preseason tour with the team, it would take a while before we'll see him. At least that's what I think. Yeah, I am stopping the live replays. The views have dropped off. Views has dropped off usually immediately after the transfer market. Views drop off even for the biggest channels. Go watch them. They still get thousands because they have the numbers that will at least help them get a sizable amount of view, but it drops for everybody, and that's especially true when you when fans aren't that enthusiastic, when they are not looking forward to the games. Some people don't want to hear you talk about Chelsea. No way we score 3 goals, and statistics say Aston Villa actually they're more likely to outscore us. They're averaging, I think, 2 points per game. We're averaging 1 point game. So let's see. Washington was man of the match yesterday against Man City 2 in Premier League 2. That's a good sign. So maybe that will lead to the manager giving them an opportunity in the first team. Let's see if that happens. All good. Mitchell boy, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We're at 47 likes right now. It's a slow day, but let's try and get it to a 50 and see if we can get to 100 by the time the show ends. Rick Blue is in the house. Eric, how you doing, brother? I appreciate you finding the time to join. I'm gonna get you up to par with just a simple question. Are you looking forward to this one? If yes, let us know why. If no, let us know why. And then the next question is: do you think the manager is being cautious? If he's being cautious, is he overly cautious? Those are the 2 questions I want to hear you answer before we move on. But more importantly, I hope you're good, brother.
Yes, I'm good. I know you're doing great. You never look better.
Wow, I can't come. I like that, man. Thank you. Thank you. Only
Yes,
you.
you're looking.
Roger never says such to me.
Yeah,
But maybe
looking
because
very
you're my
good.
brother. But you go ahead.
Yeah. Maybe there's some bias there, but no, you're looking fresh today. You're looking good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Yeah, I can't see the other panel, the panelists, but I'm sure you guys are doing great as well. Good to be on after a while. I'm always busy, but if
bills
I'm
don't pay themselves.
this
is pro bono.
I mean, if I told you I'm optimistic, well, okay, let me just answer the question the way you asked. If I told you that I'm looking forward to the next game, I would be telling you a lie. I'm telling you a bold-faced lie. It's not the truth. It's just not true. I can't tell you how depressed I was. Maybe depressed is the wrong word, but I was very underwhelmed after the last game. I couldn't even watch the game to the end. I had to just stop. So this game, if I'm okay, so the last game I predicted a 1-0 loss. And even though we didn't lose the game, it felt like a loss. Yeah, it was a terrible situation. I was very optimistic about the season after the first game against Liverpool. I thought even if we're not perfect, at least we're going to see some good things. We're going to have something to be excited about. Maybe a little bit similar to the Lampard season, the first season, 2019. So that's something more like what I was hoping. We'll concede too many goals. We'll have some terrible games,
Mm.
but we'll try to, create chances. Will be exciting. It's a young team. You expect to see a lot of energy and people just being very eager to create chances and to make a name for themselves. That's just the logical thing to expect, right, with a young team. But obviously, I was very wrong. We're playing some terrible football. We're way too slow. We're not passing the ball fast enough. The players look like they don't have a clue. So for the next game, yes, I have to be optimistic because if you're not optimistic, then there's no point. But I think we're going to lose again. I think it's going to be a 2-1 loss. I think we might actually be able to score. But I'm sorry, I cannot expect anything more than a single goal. And I don't think we're actually good defensively. So I think Villa will score. I think Unai Emery is a better coach than Poch at the moment. I think that I didn't even know that he's been coaching for longer than Poch. Poch just he told us that in the press conference, and I was surprised. I didn't even realize that. But to be fair, Unai Emery is older, so maybe that makes a lot of sense. But Poch is just not impressing me at all. He is definitely overcautious. I don't know what he's doing. He needs to fix up. I think he's overthinking it, overthinking too many things. I'm starting to see similarities with what we were seeing under Potter, which is a very big problem for me. I don't know why we're playing Enzo as a number 10 stroke winger. I don't even know what we're doing with Enzo. I don't know why you can't just play a left back and play a winger. You instead of just moving Chilwell to left back, you take him out of the team completely and replace him with Mudryk. And we still have the same problems at the back. So for me, I would drop Thiago Silva. I don't think he can play anymore. Please drop the guy. He slows down. He's too slow. I'm sorry. Doesn't pass the ball fast enough. Not that anybody else does, but I mean, I would just drop him first of all. Just drop him. If you can find a way to play Badiashile with Colwill together, that's the best case scenario. Please play a left back in left back. Please put Matson there. Maybe even risk Cucurella. Maybe. As much as I don't like the guy, at least he's a left back.
It just takes a lot to accommodate Cucurella. You'd have to find a way to mask that space he always leaves him behind, and the way he likes to try and mop up after his defensive pairings. But go ahead.
But don't you think, though, him being, shall we say, overly cautious has to do with the fact that our team has been hit very hard with injuries? I'm not making excuses. I'm just being factual.
I don't agree with that because if you look at the first game of the season, okay, we didn't have the injuries we have now, but then after that, what did we see? We started seeing some weird, because we saw the same thing with the positions in the first game, but at least the team played in a different way. I know it's Liverpool, so they'll give us more space, but not just in terms of the formation, but the way the team is playing is nothing like preseason. We didn't do these experiments in preseason. We went.
But how about this? Since we were querying you, you're in trouble. Let me follow Roger's question with another one. How about the fact that you can say some of the players we had during preseason aren't available to him,
like Nkunku,
like some of the kids that played during preseason, like the Italian, young Italian, what's his name, also that plays in the championship for Leicester City, and also Santos and the one that went on loan to Strasbourg. There are a few players there that played in those games where we enjoyed. They aren't available right now. How about that point? You go ahead. You're in trouble today, Eric.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'll answer your question. So, in terms of the younger players who have left on loan now, I think most of them,
because they played a lot during the preseason.
They did. They played a lot, but realistically, they weren't going to be involved. I don't think Pochettino trusted them enough anyway. Right. So, what I'm comparing now is the first game of the season to what we're seeing now, right? Even between, the first game and now, you can still see so many differences. You know, there's so much that is different from then. I know injuries happened as well, some more injuries happened, but Nkunku is the main one. I get it. You know, he needs to be involved. We are so different without him.
And
But
Reece.
yeah, and Reece, which Reece played in against Liverpool as well, to be fair. But my problem isn't really on the. Obviously, I have a problem with Gusto because he can't cross the ball. But
He's
apart from
poor.
that, he's
been
he's
very
not.
poor.
Yeah, he's been poor, but I think at least he's somewhat competent defensively.
Yes, he
So
is.
we're just tolerating Gusto's performances now. But my main concern is what we're trying to do just in general, how we're trying to create chances, regardless of who is on the pitch. Because the first game against Liverpool, Nkunku wasn't there. Yes, Reece was there, but we didn't really do too much on the right in terms of creating. I know we created a lot of space on the right, and that's kind of how we forced the corner, which led to the goal. But at the same time, I think it's more to do with just the team as a whole, and less to do with one or two players not being involved. I think we're playing very cautious football. It's very difficult to watch.
So
And
again, do you think we're being overly cautious, or do you see
yes,
any importance to us playing approaching games cautiously?
it's a terrible situation because we're not doing anything right at the moment. If you look at the second game of the season, when who was it against? West Ham, or who was it?
I can't
And
quite remember, but let's
we might
look
have
at it.
actually
Go ahead.
lost that second game. But the first game gave me hope. I was looking
West
forward to
Ham
the season.
away.
Okay, that was
West
West Ham.
Ham.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Go
I
ahead.
mean, I missed pretty much the whole game because I was actually playing football on that day. But from what I saw from the highlights, we didn't do anything right. We couldn't create chances the right way, and we couldn't defend either. And we just let West Ham do whatever they liked on the counter, which is always what they were going to do. And they just destroyed us again.
At West
like they
Ham, we
usually
had
do.
our XG at West Ham was 2.49. It was that's
Right,
quite
okay.
that's big.
Yeah.
We did create chances. It's just that
Okay.
wait for it. We didn't put them away.
Right. Okay, but I mean,
Yeah, that's shocking, right?
okay.
That's
Yeah,
something new.
it's a huge surprise.
Newsflash.
Okay,
Go
no,
ahead, Eric.
okay. Look, I'm not gonna be too hung up with stats and XG. I didn't watch the game. I don't know what kind of chances there were. I only saw the highlights, but okay, we're either not creating enough chances or we are, and we're just not taking it. Either way,
That's been the
well,
case.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that I think there are two different problems. So we have a problem with the team having maybe too much pressure, and they just can't score, and they just keep trying to give someone else the responsibility, keep passing the ball sideways, and try to cut the ball back every time instead of shooting the ball themselves. So we have that problem.
And
But
let me
then we
ask you
also
this. Go ahead. When you drop, I want to ask you something else before we
yeah.
give those
So
in the
I
chat the
think
microphone.
it's fair to say there are multiple problems, but I think Poch is the main person to look at because he's the one who's supposed to set the tone. He determines what the players do. He's the one that gives them confidence. Okay, play this way, trust in it. It's going to work. Blah blah blah. And then from there, whatever nerves the player have, hopefully the players can just get over it and be better. But yes, in terms of us either not taking chances or just not creating the right quality of chances, or just not being dangerous for like 30 minutes plus spells in a 90-minute game. Those are the main problems we have, really. So I'll just leave it there for now.
Yes, then let me ask you this, Eric. Do you see any issues with the fact that because I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to that? Do you see any problem with the fact that we have an entirely new team, or maybe if you don't want to see it like that, we made too many changes, which that leads to us seeing disjointed displays here and then, mix up in the midfield area, defensive area, even in the attacking area. To me, that's a huge problem. And given how we played, I get it, we've not been perfect. I'd say we're making progress, but that's why my question is: do you see any problem with that? Do you see that as an issue? To me, I think it is.
Okay, so this was an issue from even before now. I think when we made all those changes in the summer, last summer, the summer before,
But not as many as we as this time.
Right. So yes, you can say that, fair enough, but I still believe even with the crazy number of changes, we should see some kind of idea of what we're trying to do on the pitch.
You don't think we've seen you haven't seen any?
No, I saw it in maybe one game this season. I know I've missed 1 or 2 games as well, but what did we see against Nottingham Forest, really? Was there any kind of indication of what we're trying to do? What did we see against, even against Luton? We were so bad in most of that game. It was only towards the end that we started to like do some things, and we struggled before Sterling scored his first goal. And then in this most recent game against Bournemouth, I couldn't even watch the game. I had to just stop watching because
it was painful, wasn't it?
It was painful. It was terrible. So okay, maybe these are part of the growing pains, and this is the team just trying to find chemistry. I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping it's just a very temporary thing. When players come back fit, we'll look so much better. When players get to know each other, blah blah blah. But I'm sorry, there's no excuse for why a coach can't set a team up to play a certain way, and we can't see any kind of glimpse of that. We only have one game in the whole season to say that, okay, maybe we saw something. We have no identity. We have no way of playing. We don't.
We do have an identity. Create chances and miss them. That's our identity.
look.
Too soon? Too soon, gentlemen?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
No,
you're right. You're right. I forgot. We also have an identity of keeping the ball. We have like crazy possession, like under Sarri, and we don't do anything. Teams literally they just sit back. Teams just sit. And honestly, every team should do this against us. Just pack out
blueprint to beat us.
Literally, yeah. Pack out the middle. Defend aggressively. Just be strong and show some effort and passion. And we can't do anything. And obviously, just wait for the counter. The ball will get to you eventually. Someone will misplace a pass and just kill us on the counter. Every team should play like that against us because it works every time. Teams don't have to worry about us creating chances or giving them problems. Just sit back, counter. Sit back, counter. It works every time. So these statistics, I'm sorry, I can't focus too much on them just because, I mean, if you're watching the actual games, do you truly feel like we're creating chances, like quality chances every game?
I feel like I feel like we should be creating more, but I think we've created enough to actually do better than we've done in those games.
Okay, that's fair.
But I just feel like because the more you create, the more the chance you say you have to create score goals. So if you're not scoring enough, it means you have to up the volume of the chances you create to score.
Yes, I always prefer having a dangerous team to having a team with good stats. And the most important stat at the end of the match is the points, and the most important stat at the end of the season is obviously the points, right? Yeah, where you finish,
your position,
your position, exactly, your position in the table at the end of the season, and the number of points you have at the end of each match. Those are the most important things, which is why. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Roger. If you have anything to say, so that we can give those in the chat the microphone and come back again.
Sure. The only
Eric, I hope you've dropped, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead,
sorry,
Roger.
Eric. The only good thing I want to say about what we're doing is the fact that each and every game we have been the better team. And I'm not just talking about possession. I throw that stat out. But when you look at the stats, we are in the top 2 in, for instance, the most progressive passing going forward, in the top 2 in most touches in the opposition box, the most chances created, the largest chances created. Conversely speaking, we have we're in the bottom 2, however you want to look at it. We're in the top 2 in missing chances and missing the biggest chances. So when you look at it, to me, if we're not creating chances and we're not being progressive enough, like passing through the lines, then I would be very concerned. But we're achieving everything other than scoring. Just to be honest with you, it could be worse. It could be far worse.
Yeah,
but we've been this way for over 2 seasons, though. Think about it, through 4 coaches, including going back to Tuchel. Look at Tuchel's last game. We lost in Champions League, a home game against, I can't remember the name of the team, a very small Austrian team, I think, or someone. I can't recall who it was.
Salzburg or something. I can't remember.
I can't recall who it was. And we created so many bloody chances.
I think it was Zagreb.
Zagreb maybe. And they scored 1-0 on a bloody breakaway. It's like that's our MO. Yeah. And it has been for 2.5-3 seasons. Mm. So you can't say it's specific to
no.
Because this was Potter's downfall. This was to a certain extent Tuchel's downfall. You don't include the what's his name, the coach that was just for one game, and then Frank. You
Bruno.
can't. Yeah, Bruno and Frank. They're not really part of the equation. And this has been the early DNA, the identity of Poch. But then again, you have to give him some, shall we say latitude, because of the fact that he is. Listen, we're missing basically 8 to 12 players of starting quality. I take Bertinelli out of that. So this has to be part of the equation. So you have to give him latitude. That's my only logic. Okay. So this has been our DNA. This has been our modus operandi now for a long time. So this is why it bodes well. I'm somewhat optimistic, but having said that we've missed some sitters. We've missed some very easy. Confidence is low, and it's showing.
Yeah, something Nigerians will say, goals that my grandma will score.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's give those in the chat the microphone. We'll come back and we'll start us picking the lineup. We'll try as much as we can to try to predict what we believe the manager would do. Not easy because we don't have so much to work with. Glenn 10. Always nice to see you, Glenn. Appreciate you finding the time to join. I hope you're dealing with your situation well, and always nice to see you, because whenever I see you, it gives me hope. It lets me. It's a reflective of the fact that you are still living your life. No, you're not too worried about the situation. You're gonna beat it. Coach is sticking with a fresh seafood and mojito. You think that's
mojito?
I put Jimmy J Morgan on a striker over Jackson. Wow. I think Jackson will come good. He's doing everything right. Just start putting away the chances. I hope he doesn't wait until it's a little too late. A big up to you too. You misspelled my name there, and I understand it happens to all of us. That's probably your phone trying to predict what you want to say. Brianni Yahayu, aka 343, Kylama, aka FC, aka Jackson FC, back now to Contender FC. Always nice to see you, brother. I appreciate you joining the show. Coach, according to Eugene, Poch is the right coach for us. Isn't his point sort of valid, or am I missing something here? It depends on who you ask. I still think he's the right man for the job. I still think he overachieved at Tottenham. PSG, that's a different story altogether. He had egos to deal with. And that has led to the argument that he's not able to deal with big egos. Do I think that's the case? I'm not going to jump to that conclusion yet. Do we have big egos at the club right now? I'd say no. I think he's given his track record with young players. I think he's the right man for the job, and it's too early to start judging him. If you have to judge him, consider the fact that we've made a lot of changes. You have every right to critique him, to talk about him playing a fullback in a left wing position. You have every right to question with us playing with 7 defensive players in a 3 at the back structure. All those things, but I think he's still the right man for the job. And for me, I can understand why he's being cautious, honestly. Because, you need a balance where you have a situation where chances are you see disjointed displays here and there in the defensive midfield and attacking areas, and also mix up that can lead to goals. You need to be defensively cautious. And I think that's the case. I think I recognize even the first time he did that's exactly what he's trying to do. And it makes sense to a certain extent. But sometimes, he's overdoing it. I'd say sometimes you just change it up. Take the risk. It doesn't matter. These kids, and I'm going to say something. Who was that said that? I think was it JC who said in the chat that if we go into games with the mindset that we have nothing to lose, I think we'll be playing better. And I think I buy that idea. But let's see. And something else that consoles me is the fact something that Jerry Z mentioned, where he said something to the effect of Pochettino start to life at Tottenham and at Southampton wasn't so great. So maybe it takes time for him to get the players to start playing consistently how he likes to approach the games. Being cautious is important. If we're being factual, if we're being truthful to ourselves, he has to be cautious, honestly. But at the same time, you have to remember that we've created enough chances that had we been clinical in front of goal, the story will be different right now. So let's see what else we have here. We do have injuries, but aside from James and Nkunku, the guys aren't first 11 unlike those. Chukwuemeka proved you by now should recognize his importance. Yeah, that we miss him. He played against Liverpool and he was effective. He actually fulfilled the 10 role better than Enzo have done. As much as I think Enzo is a better player, or maybe I shouldn't be going to the extent of comparing them because they different players with different attributes. He was able to read the game, knowing when to move the ball from one end to the other end and all that. And but let's see. You count him. I think you should count Cucurella too. A lot of them are actually able starters, honestly. Yeah, if they're there, they which means they're capable of starting. Pochettino needs to fix up. He's too naive. The top coaches can earn their money by making difficult decisions. Poch needs to free this team, unleash Modric and Palmer. Yeah, we have nothing to lose. I hope we see it that way. But the owners, you can saying they still believe we're going to achieve a Champions League place simply means I don't think the manager has the luxury to be experimenting too much, but it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. Broya, he's sharp striker. It's a sharp striker. Let's start this game. Against Villa versus a bit mixed up there. But Broya, we don't know whether he'd be the same, but we'll find out in due time. Why don't people understand that the injuries also mean that there's a lack of competition? Wow, that's a delicious point right there. Whether or not those injured players, barring Bettinelli, are immediate starters or not, the starting players, they provide competition. They push the starting players to do even better. So thank you for that delicious comment there, Ty. Right now, we have nothing to keep them. We have nothing to keep them on their toes. I agree with you, and that causes them to not have an extra push. Yep. Ty, you spitting fire right there, and that's Glenn 10 there saying if your performances rely on one or two players being available or not them, that means your core squad hasn't been sorted out yet. That's another point. Or maybe you don't have plan B. That's just to remix that comment a bit. That may well be the case. Or maybe the manager doesn't have plan B. As much as I like Poch, we have to speak objectively when we talk about him. If we lose against Villa, thank you for 17 years. The memorable moment in my life, so you will move on. Okay, the coach is the most important factor in a young team. We said that 1,000 times during Potter's era. The young players need a lot of coaching. Yep. Chelsea, we have 3 strikers. David Fofana, Broya, and Jackson. If someone is injured, use another striker. Okay. Good morning to you too, my bro. I appreciate you finding the time to join. How are you? I hope you're doing well. We have 3 center backs in disguise, yet we are getting countered. That's a crazy fix it, Poch. I think he will find a solution to that. I'm telling you, it all started with Lukaku. There you go. Glenn comes again. The guy started Ragnarok. That show, that's a show called Ragnarok. And also there's also Ragnarok, the one with what's the Australian guy, which has 3 parts right now. We will now have to endure a long, cold, harsh winter before we get back there. Wow. Some comments. We create enough chances to win a game. Maybe we need to create more. We're doing enough. I think we're doing enough. We just haven't been clinical in front of goals. in front of the goal. Yep, Jerry C again in the chat. Thank you for coming back. Let's see what else we have here. Andreas Santos is not in the match team for Nottingham Forest. Wasted loan move. It just doesn't make sense right now. It looks like it. I don't know why we sent him out on loan there, but again, that decision had to be made. But I don't know if the agreement with Nottingham Forest is well thought out. If it is not, then we're in trouble because sometimes you tell the loaning team that we want him to play at least certain amount of games. But let's see. It's still early days. Chelsea is buying more. Chelsea are buying more players. Why Pochettino not use this players? That problem is Chelsea's coach. There's a chance. Yeah, you have every right to blame him. Chelsea versus PSG return leg. Mourinho was so confident that he would win that tie. He said, if you don't believe Chelsea would win, watch the game from home and don't come to the bridge. Some comment, Peter Pan, nice to see you. Coach, he got a plan B. Whatever he's doing, and it's his plan B. If we take preseason as his plan A, think about it, Coach. Maybe that may well be the case. So let's get into the lineup building exercise proper. I don't know, Roger. Do you think we should try to predict I think we should try to predict what he's doing because that's what the title says. We shouldn't try to. You can say just select the players we think will be best for us. Will help us get a result. I think we should try and work with what we have. Roger, let's go with your back four.
Okay. What about keeper?
Okay, let's start.
Really?
That's the way of your way of asking me, am I losing it?
No respect.
Go ahead, Roger. Between the sticks, you go ahead.
So I believe it's going to be Sanchez unless there's an injury. I think that's a safe assumption.
Yeah, I wanted to take care of that myself because that's the hardest part, But you go ahead. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Petrovic, he will get a chance in a cup game, and if he does something special in that cup game, maybe he gets a chance. But Sanchez is showing, he's picking up form. He was brilliant in our last match. Had it not been for his brilliance between the sticks, maybe the game would have ended differently. But you go ahead, back for Roger. Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah, he was brilliant on the day. Go ahead, Roger, back four. Let me just help you. Let me make it easier for you. I'll say, Gusto here. I don't want you to.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, let me take you can say, go take care of the most difficult part of it. So go ahead with the rest. I've made it easier for you.
Yeah, I think he's going to start Silva.
You think he starts again? Some people are arguing he's tired. Do you think that's the case?
No.
Okay. Silva on the right. Let's go. So the others.
And then it's probably going to be, well, I was about to say Badiashile, but I'm not sure what his condition is.
No, he isn't. I don't think he plays.
No, he's not ready, is he?
Yeah.
So it's Colwell on the left side by the looks of it.
Colwell most likely left back again, I think.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked if he does anything different.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's go. The two centre backs. You have Silva, Disasi, most likely. That's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Disasi will probably start. I think he's going to try and build continuity. Yeah, I think so. I think he will start Axel Disasi there.
And left back, unfortunately, I'm listening. Let me let you go.
No, I think that's it. Well, obviously, it's going to be Colwell here, isn't it?
I think so too.
Unless there's injuries, I see this is how it's playing out.
But until he does otherwise, I think most likely.
Yeah,
Colwell.
Exactly. Yeah,
he's done it consistently now.
Exactly. Well, we've had 5 games, so yeah, I think this is the way he goes. Do I want that? No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I'd do something different if it were up to me. But Ty, let's hear you. Your back four. Do you think Petr Cech should start over Sanchez? Whatever you think, you let us know between the sticks. And then the back four, let's hear you, Ty, if you're there. All right, let's go. It looks like Ty is a bit busy. Let's go to Jersey. He's back on the panel again. Jersey, let's just call it the back five, the four defenders, and then the goalkeeper. Do you agree or do you differ? Or do you think he'd do anything different? Because we're trying to predict what we believe Pochettino will do, not what we think will help us get a result.
Yeah, so if we have to predict what he will do, so I guess like there are few options, but this one probably looks as the best option that he will go with, right? So if I have to predict, I'll agree with Roger on this back four, what Poch will use.
I think you're in Roger's gang because you agree with him too much. Let's see what else we have here. Coach was gonna slot in Sanchez freely. Yeah, I was just gonna do that. You know, I like taking care of the difficult aspect of the whole thing to make it easier on all the panelists here. Yeah, so you got me right there. Good morning. Have a great weekend, Courtney. It doesn't look like you have time to participate, so you're just stopping by to say hello. But more importantly, good to see you. It's been a minute, and I hope you're doing well. So let's come to you. The 2-6s, Jersey. Let me start with you, then I'll go to Roger. The 2-6s, you go for it. Do you
Enzo
see
Fernandez?
him playing Enzo in the 10th position again, or do you think in a deeper position this time? Because I think he changed things around in the second half of the last game, and Enzo played better, in my opinion. But you go ahead.
Yes, that's right. I don't have a problem with Enzo playing as a number 10. You know, this is an option in my opinion. But I think because Palmer is here now, right? So he'll play Enzo and Conor Gallagher because I think Caicedo is a question mark right now. Maybe he'll come as a sub. So it will be most probably, right, Enzo and Conor Gallagher.
You think it's going to be Enzo and Conor Gallagher?
Yes.
Okay. Enzo and Gallagher, you don't think Lesley starts this game? Okay, I'm going to plug it in, but we'll change it if anybody thinks otherwise. So I'm going to say Enzo. It doesn't matter whether on the left or on the right, Conor Gallagher. But I don't think we'll see this tomorrow. I think Ugochukwu plays. Let's see. That's just my opinion, but
Sure.
We're not done yet.
Sure, absolutely. Just to ask you a question, everyone, of course, you have your opinion, and we are just guessing, right? So if you think Conor Gallagher will not play at this position, so in a way he will not play the game, right? Or you see him playing in the number 10 position tomorrow?
No, here's the thing. If we're going by what the manager would do, chances are he starts Enzo in the 10 role and Gallagher playing deeper. Here's the thing. And I'm tempted to feel like maybe when he changed things around in the second half, Enzo played better, which brings me back to what I've always argued. Enzo is simply a deep line playmaker. The more he sees the pitch, the more effective it be. The less he sees the pitch, the less effective it be. That doesn't mean he will still not be effective, but he'd be better at playing from a deeper position. Go ahead, Roger. You were saying something.
Yeah, you've always stated this, and it bore it out the last game where he played as a number 10. That doesn't mean he can't play the position, but he was at his most ineffectual.
Yeah,
with wearing a Chelsea shirt in his career thus far when he was playing the number 10. That doesn't mean to say he can't be a great number 10, but it wasn't good. Let's leave it at that.
No, it wasn't really. And here's the thing: something that baffles me. He can still start in a deeper position, but with the independence of freedom to be wherever he want to be on the pitch.
I was more optimistic about, because of his first touch, his ability to cope with the ball under pressure, and his vision. But you've always stipulated that he sees the pitch better from a distance. And I've never disputed that, but I thought he could equally excel being further up the pitch. But thus far, he did not. I confess that. I was disappointed. But I'm hoping that Poch does play him in a deeper line position. I really do.
But unfortunately, we're not too sure right now. But what do you think he does, Roger?
I wouldn't bet the mortgage on it. Let's be honest.
But let's sort this out. Do you see Lesley start? Then we can work on those in the chat will help us decide who pairs him. I think he starts. I don't think the manager will risk Casado since there's any measure of doubt. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Ugochukwu plays there unless he's got a knock or something. If he's fit enough, I think he starts in that position. I do indeed.
And I think you can argue he did well enough alongside Gallagher. So chances are the more likelihood is him starting alongside Gallagher. That's how I see it. I don't know. What do you think, Roger?
Yeah, I thought I had to. Wow, I tell you what, this was brutal watching that game the second time, and I thought he was one of the very few players that were wearing a Chelsea shirt that didn't play poorly.
Who? Who are you talking about?
Ugochukwu. I thought he played.
Okay, yeah. For me, it was him and Sanchez. He was the only positive.
Yeah. I actually, to be honest with you, I also thought that what's his name, Connor actually played quite well. I thought he did some very good things. Enough. Yeah. This is a very low bar, coach. Let's not deceive ourselves.
No, we have to be honest, but he did well enough. But unfortunately, for us at this time, we have to make do with what we have.
This bar was subterranean. Let's put it that way. It was so low. It was fudge. I mean, how low can you go? It was bad. But yes, I think for the most part, these are the players that, shall we say, didn't embarrass themselves, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, they did well. Ugochukwu shocked me at 19, and his first Premier League start.
Actually, that's a valid point, Coach. I mean, I mean this politely, but he's a kid. He's a very young man, and for someone of such youth, he equipped himself very well. When you consider that there are a lot older players out there that did not.
And did you see he's good at progressing the ball? It doesn't matter how many players he has on him.
Yeah, I actually.
He's a contributor too. Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you, and he's, as Bobby would say, Bobby, if you're listening, I miss you, Old Bean. The guy has physicality too. You know, he has height. You know, he's upper body strength. He's prototypically a very good sitting midfielder. I like him.
Yeah, I do like him, honestly.
And I think he can only get better.
He will with time, and it looks like obviously the manager likes him, which is why he kept him and sent out Santos and Casade out on loan. Gallagher needs a rest. Is that? I'm quite sure that's not really what you mean.
Gallagher will start as a captain.
Yeah, he's the captain. I'm quite sure that's not what that means. He just wants him out of the team. Not really defined.
Do you mean a 10-year rest? What are you saying here?
Yeah, look at it. Look at what he followed it with for a long time.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Oh my, that's hilarious, really. Jerry Z was saying something, I think, here that Enzo is not a 10. He's not, and I've told people that. Yeah, and I think I had a battle on Twitter where I said Enzo is a deep line playmaker. We need someone else in an attacking midfielder who's capable of creating lots of chances from the center area so that we can...
I still think, though, he could excel in that position over time.
He will, but I don't think he'll be as effective as a traditional 10.
Perhaps not.
Yeah,
one doesn't know, though.
You want more. For instance, you want a 10 that also, if we can't find the chance to create, that will take the bull by the horn. You can say, pull a rabbit out of the hat and help us win a game. That's all this is to find a 10.
Sure, my criticism of him thus far is his inability, how ineffectual he is when shooting. It's if he's lucky enough to actually, quote unquote, and I use this term loosely, test the bloody keeper, it looks like a back pass. Mm-hmm. It's shocking when you consider how much of a talented individual he is. He's inept at shooting so far, which I'm shocked about, because you would expect, shall we say, greater quality from a person of his ilk.
But you remember I've told you that hasn't always been the case. Would you say it's because of you can say the current situation at the club? He will come good, but
I don't know what I don't know what causes him to shoot with no velocity whatsoever and hit directly at the keeper for more times out of 10, and then let alone the times where he misses the target by a country mile. I'm not sure. It could be psychological. I have no idea. But
Possibly.
He doesn't look anything like a world-class player when he's shooting. Far from it.
Yeah. Beyond that, he's an excellent player. His
Yeah. Oh,
passing
he
range,
is.
his
Now,
vision.
what he does to an exceptionally high standard. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, from his lack of ability to be clinical, it's quite worrisome. That's where I find my biggest criticism of him. That doesn't mean he can't be overcome, though.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let's go.
eyes are seeing.
I think I agree with you. Ugo knows his role. It's a simple one. Playing a player to his strength. Simple. And yeah, he was. I think that kid will go a long way. And thank goodness we kept him. Because I was arguing at the time it wouldn't make sense to send him out on loan. He helped Rennes achieve a top 4 place. He played against the likes of Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, and the honest. In those games, he did quite well. You can't get the ball off of him once he decides to shield the ball from you. That's how good he is. But you cannot play a Gallant next to him. He's no idea to progress the ball. Yeah, and he needs a rest, right? I'll have you say that again. Yep, Dante will continue to suffer. I think Gallagher brings something to the table, and that's why the manager likes him, more importantly. But I'll still say he's not my favorite Chelsea player. I think for us to get the best of Gallagher, he has to play on the flanks. Gallagher can play as actually in the right wing position and do well. In my opinion, Gallagher is okay in the pivot if he does the defensive duties. Only simple. Not to rest, which we could say that may well be the reason why the manager likes playing him. That's why you cannot play those two together. Let's see. Just having a conversation there. Yes, I always say Gallagher's a squad player at best. Wow. Let me Roger, let's start with you. The 260s, I think we can agree. That's most likely what the manager will do. And until he does otherwise in terms of playing Enzo in the 10 role, I think he will do it again, unfortunately. But there's a chance we'll see a change in the left back position. But go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, I think whether Gallagher is played in the number 10 instead of Enzo or not, I don't know. But I think it's a safe assumption that those 3 midfielders will be the starters, if healthy.
Yeah, the 3 of them will be there. Where they start, we don't know.
Yeah, you're right. And the only other thing I can think of would be Colwell not playing as a left back and possibly a true left back.
Coming in.
Chilwell or even Kuka. I'm just assuming there is that possibility that he could be second guessing himself now. Let's see, and he very well may put either Colwell as a centre back or not even playing at all. I don't know yet.
So you agree, Enzo? He plays him here again, even though you and I know he's been ineffectual there. Let me use your language.
Yeah, let's be honest. I'm not. I don't have an agenda. I'm just being honest.
And I agree with you.
It just it was shocking, especially when you watch it the second time. It's quite apparent, but that doesn't mean one game doesn't make a pattern. You know, if you can't extrapolate his career based on one game. So listen, I'm not sure whether he plays Enzo as a cam or deeper lying position. I have no idea. All I do know is I think there's a very strong possibility those 3 midfielders are going to be the ones that are starting if healthy. That's a safe assumption.
Yeah, so let's go. Left wing back, Roger. I think for me, Mudryk gets a run of game. I think manager probably have decided to give him a run of game. I don't think there's any excuse to bench him. He did well enough, but after that yellow, I suspected he was going to be taken off. Had it not been for the yellow, I think he would have played him 90 minutes. But Roger, let's hear you. That's just my opinion. Let's hear you. Left wing, right wing.
This is what gets me. This is where I have a conflict of interest deep down. Because as much as Sterling has been at times our best player this season, he has equally been one of our worst players. the lack of continuity, the lack of consistency has been glaring. But having said that, so basically you're asking me to root for him having a really great game. Alternatively, he's gonna suck. this is what we're faced with now. I would like to start Modric. Of course I would. It's not even open for debate. But I fear he won't, or Madueke. I would love to have Madueke on the right, Modric on the left. I really would.
But unfortunately, Sterling starts.
Yeah, because, listen, as much as I have critiqued him since coming to Chelsea, and rightfully so in my opinion, you must give him kudos when he's done well. You look at that free kick he took. It's like I had to rub my eyes. I'm like, wow, I did not expect such a quality free kick from Sterling. It was
delicious.
It was Messi-esque, wasn't it? It was gorgeous. I mean, probably the biggest surprise of the season thus far for me. I did not expect that kind of quality from him. So listen, when it's worthy, I will give him kudos because you have to. But having said that, he's also played very poorly on numerous occasions. So I think he starts. He's probably going to start on the right. So I think Sterling starts, but I would want Madueke to start. And
yeah,
but I wouldn't be surprised if Madueke starts on the right and Sterling starts on the left.
Possibly, but
or he could play Palmer
but here's
on
the
the
thing,
left.
Madueke, given the manager's pressure, Madueke is still recovering. So which means he's not going to start.
Yeah, so Sterling's on the right, and I would say Modric on the left, but I wouldn't be surprised if Palmer starts on the left because he's been very effective when he plays on the left for City. His crosses have been excellent. So, but I would hope Madueke for obvious reasons, because I can see Palmer being a greater impact as a number 10. Or even on the right-hand side, but who knows? But this is what I see: Modric, Enzo, Sterling. I think that's a safe assumption. I wouldn't necessarily go with it myself, but that's why I'm not paid the big bucks.
Yeah, I saw on the left you say who you're going with. Let's see if there's any need to do otherwise. I think it looks like he's going to give him a Modric a run of games. I think so.
Yeah, or unless Sterling plays on the left and Palmer on the right, but I don't think so. I think it's Modric.
Him dropping Palmer to the bench doesn't look like. I don't know. Here's the thing: we don't have too much to work with until.
No, and he didn't have a preseason with us, so that's why.
Yeah, exactly. So it'd be difficult to say Palmer comes in. I get it. He got a chance to play that game when he came on, and that's because we're desperate. Wanted to see if he's going to make a change. But let's hear you. Before I come to you, JC, let me go through this. It says, and that mean that man's player 8 on the screen will be Chilwell. You think? So you're talking about this guy here, possibly. That may well happen, but let's see. Dante, okay, you're having a conversation there. Enzo didn't really play in the 10 role. He had more of a free role. He still did not play. But his starting role was the 10 role, but he had the freedom to be whatever he wants to be on the pitch, but still wasn't as effective, if you get my point. But I think I understand what you're saying there. I don't understand how Poch doesn't see that Jackson needs a player behind him to feed him and make him effective. I think that player may well be Ian Matson. Didn't he create 2 good chances that he took well during preseason? He did, right? Yeah, I think he did. During preseason, he created 2 chances for him and he put them away. What about 4-3-3? I think we'll see that sometime, but until with the manager does that, we can't just say we're picking a starting structure. Right now, I think the most likely structure, 2 structures, may well be this a 4-2-3-1 or 3-4-2-1, but not 4-3-3. But let's see what happens. Until he's used the 4-3-3 structure, we can't say he'd do that. Let me just make it easier for the panelists. I'm going to plug in who starts here, the most difficult one again.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. If you're there, if you're there, Jerry Z, what do you make of the 11 we selected so far? We're trying. We're not trying. We're not saying for us. We're not saying that this is, you can say, the best 11 to help us get a result. We're just trying to predict what the manager would do. We believe the manager would do tomorrow. What do you think? Do you have? Do you think he'd do anything differently?
I'll do a lot different, but you haven't given me enough chances. Like, because we are
No, but let's say
analyzing.
we're saying, do you think the manager would do anything differently? Because we're trying to predict what we believe he'd do.
Possible, because if I analyze in the last 5 games, he's changing so many things. So right now there is no pattern at all, so that we
No
can be
pattern,
sure
nothing
of,
to work. Yeah.
right? So probably it will be like that. The only thing because we all agreed with that Enzo, probably he could be a great player at number 10, but I would have played him at number 6, right? So we could have used both Palmer and Modric instead. Palmer as a number 10 and Modric on the left. But since you asked me, do I think he will make any change? Probably if someone like Mudioke is like, if he's available, but since we are not sure like he's fit enough to start, so probably I would say, again, I'm not agreeing, you know me, like I have my opinion. So this looks to be a safe bet. Yeah.
Roger, anything else you want to add?
No, I think we've covered it for the most part.
Okay, let me put you on the spot, Roger. What do you think the outcome of the game would be?
I don't usually like to predict the scoreline, but
All of a sudden you're not into that.
yeah, I think it's probably going to be a draw.
Oof, like a goalless draw, you think it would be goals?
Listen, we can't afford to concede more than one because I don't see where the goals are coming from. Until we show...
Until proven otherwise.
Yeah, until we can consistently be clinical, I just don't see where our goals are coming from.
Wow. Jerry, let's hear you. Do you think, what do you think the outcome of this game would be?
I will give you my outcome, but don't ask me why, because I won't have any stat or analytics to prove why I'm saying that. Right? So I wanted to make this clear. I'll go with a 2-1 win for Chelsea. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So me, I'm not too sure what's gonna happen. If you're gonna try and get an answer to me, I'd say most likely it ends in a draw. And I'm serious. That's how I see it.
I'll take a point, though.
Sorry?
I'll take a point when you consider the opposition.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Generally, I do think, Roger, I don't know if you agree with me. These run of games that people think are going to be very difficult for us, and that the opposition teams will mop the floor with us, beat us 8-0, 10-0. I think those are actually the games we'll get something from.
Yeah, because
I'm going to repeat myself again. Charity FC is still well and truly in existence. We do better against the big boys. So I don't know. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, because they don't use a low block. That's why.
So yeah, it makes it easier for us. Yeah. So I agree. I think with that, we've come to the natural end of the show. Ty looks like it to be not close to his desk. It's understandable, probably at work and still trying to be on his brother's show. I want to say thank you for Roger, and apologies that I haven't reached out to see how you're doing.
Not a problem.
I had the intention to, but you know how busy one can be. Thank you, Roger. Much love. We missed you, and we're glad that you're back. Thank you to Ty for joining us today, and thank you to Jerry Z. An excellent debut for Jerry. Thank you
guys for having me. It's really a pleasure.
More thanks to you. And I'm going to get a few stuff we have in the chat before we call it a day. We'll see. Is it true that Gallagher is proper? It is true that Gallagher is proper, Charles. I saw the video of when he signed his professional contract. You needed to see the joy in his face. Yeah, nobody would take that away from him. Both the dad and mom are Chelsea fans. So probably the reason again, there were offers on the table for me, and he wants to stay. To me, that's enough to keep him. We need that core of true and true Chelsea players.
It's what dreams are made of, Coach.
Sorry?
It's what dreams are made of.
Yeah, exactly. Last game was, and we knew if Mason Mount Mason Mount leaves, he ends up staying. Last game was 4-3-3 on paper. But yeah, like I said about Enzo, he had a free roll. Yeah, I agree with you. Sterling has been better beneficial than Enzo, Gallagher, and Chilwell, but unfortunately, we cannot keep the same energy. Mark and Newman saying with the players, we don't favor. Yeah, I think you're making sense. Roger did mention he's been one of our best players this season, and I think I agree with that. But has he been consistent? I'd say no. But even I would start him, even though he's not my favorite player right now, given that he's not been consistent enough, I'd still start him. And if you see my preferred lineup YouTube shot, he started. Yeah. Sterling has a great game every 10 games. Let's see. Thank you so much to you too. And with that, we've come to the natural end of the show. He's hopeless, hoping other players. He only has individual talent, a horrible passing. Wow. Okay. Take care, everyone. Take care. You too, Constantine Dante. Jackson needs us to stop complaining to the refs. Kenny. One yellow card away to miss in the next game. Have a great Saturday, everyone. I would say week. But yeah. And my bro, Glenn 10, always nice to see you. Remember, the evening, the daily roundup show is back, but we may not do it today because it clashes with the game I know all of us would like to watch. What game will start at 12 today? We'll see. If it's a game of no significant importance, then we'll move on. So thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Constantine Dante. Thank you, Kenny 14. Nice to see you. Thank you, Contender FC and Markin Neum. Lateness is greatness, but always nice to see you. Who else? EE, much love to you. Contender FC, I said hello to you. Anybody else? Peter Pan. And if I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all and bye.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.